Hey, everybody. How are we doing tonight on this wonderful, momentous occasion? It's the 3rd anniversary of the Comic Art Live channel. Isn't that crazy? Literally, actually, tomorrow would be. Technically, it was on the 19th of May 2020 that we did our first live broadcast on the channel. And that was the night before we had our first Comic Art Live virtual con, which, this weekend we're on our 7th. So it's pretty crazy. But, it's amazing that we're still here doing this fun stuff, and that all of you are still hanging out here with us every single show and every single week. So, like Nick said, it is a 3rd anniversary party. That is for sure. I think we've changed a lot. I've certainly gotten a little better at doing these things. I mean, I'm still not a polished end product, but I think I've gotten a little bit better as a host as the years have grinded by. But again, it's been a lot of fun getting to hang out with everybody. But I'll tell you, one of the things I wanted to do, because so many of you weren't here at the beginning, and I know many of you joined in the last couple of years, but in that first year, things were tough. I mean, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I mean, we were finding our way through the channel. Mike, Will, Glenn, and I were always messing around trying to figure out who to interview and what to do. And it was an interesting time, trying to figure out what to do during COVID, but it gave us all something to do, a place to hang out. And I think that that's really where, this great chemistry and camaraderie and community developed, outside of CAF, but it's part of it. So, I thought it would be fun, since many of you weren't there 3 years ago when this whole thing started, that I'd show you it's a taste. It's a little bit, it's about 5 minutes, but you'll enjoy it because you'll see how unpolished and how rough around the edges we were when we first started this channel, so that you can see that we've come a long way in these 3 years. But I don't think it'll bore you, because again, I don't think many of you have ever seen this, but this is the first time that we ever pushed, start the broadcast. And, I had no script. See, today I'm smart. I come with a long script. When we did that show, I had no idea what we were going to do, and we ended up doing origin stories for us all. So it made for an interesting show. But here is a few excerpts from that first episode.
9 o'clock.
All right, yeah, here we go. All right, well, this is our first foray into doing a actual live presentation of talking about comic book artwork. And I've known the guys on this in this group for a very long time, much longer than I've worked on CAF. I've known Mike for probably 22, 23 years. He's one of the first guys I ever bought artwork from. And I've known Will Gabrielle from Comic Art Page for almost equally as long, from my time on the Comic Art L. He was one of the first people to help me understand the merits of which Daredevil pages to buy, where Frank Miller was had a hand in the pages more than he did at the end. And Glenn, I've just known Glenn for a long time. I've built his website a few years back, and he's always been at the booths when I've been hanging out with Mike. And so we thought that would be really fun to get everybody together and at least initially kind of talk about, we'll introduce ourselves to those of us, for those who don't know who we are and how we got into the hobby. And then we'll just start talking about comic book artwork.
And the thing that I really wanted to get at the time was a Romita Spider-Man page. That was the thing that I really wanted. And anyway, as it turned out, the guy who had this stack of art was Bashara Malouf. And I started chatting with him, and he had 2 pages for sale. One page was Spider-Man 116 page that had a double date between Mary Jane and Gwen and Peter. And at the bottom was an image of Spider-Man. So it kind of had just about everything you'd want on a page. And the other page he had was a battle page from Spider-Man 43 with Spider-Man battling the Rhino. That page was $2,000, and the other page was $500. So, I had $1,000 to spend, and I tried to talk Bashara into basically selling me the Rhino page for $1,000. And he was like, "Oh, no. There's this guy in Ohio. You don't know him. He buys all these Spider-Man pages, but he spends $2,000 on a page, and I can't sell it for less than that." So basically, I wound up getting the $500 page because I couldn't talk Bashara down. He was too tough on me.
I got introduced to original art. I think it was an ad, probably around 1991, a guy was selling a page from ASM 102 with Morbius, and 103, I think, is a Craven issue, Mike?
Yeah.
Okay. So
With Kazar. Yeah.
in college, I was actually living on my fraternity brother's couch at the time because I didn't secure housing that semester, but I managed to scrape up $140 and I bought the 2 pages, sent a postal money order. And, you know, I wasn't very trusting of the mail, so that was sort of a scary thing for me, but they miraculously arrived. And I just thought it was amazing to have these 2 pages that were unique in the whole world. I mean, nothing else like them. And so, you know, all of a sudden, I got the fever a little bit. So I start looking through the CBG. I make sure I pick it up every week, start looking for more art, most of which at the time I couldn't afford, but kept my eyes open, looked around for conventions, and came across a local convention. I was in Delaware at the time, Tri-State Conventions, which now, of course, is Tri-State Original Art with our friend Hans. But I went to one of those shows, which was right on the edge of the campus. And I remember going up to his table, flipping through his folio, and there were 2 consecutive pages from Spidey 13.
It's 1989. I just got out of the Army at West Point, and you know, I was just avid. The Comics Buyer's Guide was everything. Without the Comics Buyer's Guide, we have nothing. And one day I just saw an ad. Scott Dumber had a whole page ad in the Comics Buyer's Guide in October of 1989, and he's selling comic book art, and I had no idea what it was. And a guy in Seattle had just ripped me off on a Golden Age Submariner #1. I had paid $800 for it in fine condition, and a friend of mine comes over to my house that knew more about comics, and he goes, "Hey, that's a beautiful book. They did a great job restoring the spine." And I'm going like, "What? You're telling me I got a restored book and I didn't even know?" And I'm just saying, like, man, I'm sick and tired of putting money into comic books. And I was just going through the Comics Buyer's Guide, and I saw this ad for Scott Dumber for original comic art. And I barely had $100. Anyway, he had 3 pages to Spider-Man 46 for $110. And there it is. And
Wow.
I bought it. I had no idea what it was, but I bought it. And I got it in. I didn't know if it was 8 by 10. It didn't say sizes or anything. I bought it, and I got it in, and my whole life changed. Then a month after I got that page, I called him back up. I go, "Do you still have the other 2 pages?" And he said, "Yeah." And I bought them, and they were $110 and $125. And Bill's showing the pictures of them right now.
All right. Well, let's sign off, and then we'll see everybody next week.
All right, guys.
It's good.
All
All
right.
right, guys, it's been fun.
Yep.
Where we
Good
at?
night.
Absolute pleasure, gentlemen. Have a good night.
All right.
Okay, take care, guys.
Holy moly! It's like I went back in a time machine, guys.
What
God. Where those good-looking guys? Where'd they go?
I don't know. Mike's internet's the same. It looks like though as he was 3 years ago. But hey, welcome back to the show, Glenn and Will. Nice to see you guys.
Hey, nice to be back, Bill.
Thanks to have us for the big 3-year anniversary. It's
Exactly.
exciting.
Well, we missed the 2-year anniversary, so I felt like we had to do this. We had to get back together again since the 4 of us got this whole thing started 3 years ago. So a lot has changed since then.
You have multiple programs.
I do have multiple programs. I've got a lot more art than I had the last 3 years. How about you guys? Collection any better than it was 3 years ago?
I'd like to think so.
Yeah, I think our collections are better. Got to be better. I'm concerned that what happened to that great hat I used to have? Now you got me wondering where it is. I got to go look for it.
Maybe you traded it for some art. I mean,
I might have.
Well, you got some of the same pieces on the back wall, though, Glenn.
I do. It's the painting, the Saunders painting is still there. No, I'm sorry, that's the Baumhofer painting. So, but nobody here cares about that painting.
I wouldn't say
That's
that.
by Charles Saunders.
But no, that's by Walter Baumhofer. I have one by Norm Saunders too. That's why I get them confused because, it's like the same period. But anyway.
You know, it's funny. Everybody thinks that me and Glenn are the surprise tonight, but actually the surprise is that Berkey showed up because we couldn't get in touch with him.
Nobody told me about the show until 9:01 p.m. tonight. So, Bill, we talked last night. You didn't even mention it once. I
forgot to mention it last night, but we talked about it 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago, when I said, "What do you think about getting the band back together for a third anniversary show?" And
there was the email this morning.
That was a great idea. Oh boy! So Will, is this Spider-Man new behind you? Because I don't remember seeing that 3 years ago.
Nah, I'm just in a different room. I have 2 offices now, and I didn't quite finish. Well, I mean, you got the Ramita Mansion and the Spider-Mobile. I got to do something here. So now I got a second office.
In the world.
Oh, in poquito. But
I've
had Spidey for a while.
You moving to the east side? You moving on up, Jefferson?
Hasn't gotten any better.
Maybe. We'll see.
How's that possible? Mike, are you bidding on Heritage auctions while we're doing this? Because I just have
There's
to.
There's nothing on Heritage.
There's nothing on Heritage tonight. Nothing on Comic Link. Nothing on Hakes tonight.
No, we had Comic Link and Heritage last night. Wow. And Anthony still kicked my butt last night. Holy moly.
Yeah,
you were asking Bill. You were asking if our collection's been improved any, and I have to tell you that I'm only collecting AI art now. By AI artists. So
fungible tokens.
No, they're like a little bit of Ramita, a little bit of Kirby, a little bit of Buscema, a little bit. They're like they take from everywhere, and it's like a whole like sort of AI soup, and but the thing that's important about to recognize about this AI nonsense is I think this makes the collectible market more exciting, because everybody is gonna be so sick of like this AI art, and it's gonna be ubiquitous and everywhere that like I think that there's something about the tangible collectibles that people are going to gravitate to, and it's going to increase demand as we move forward. I really think that like, we're sort of in the right spot. Like as technology progresses and gets crazier and crazier, people they want community, and they want the authentic, the authentic exchange, and they want the authentic articles, which are the artwork that we collect and love and covet and sell. And so, I was just thinking about it the other day that like, that this whole new boom is going to be, I think, a real kick in the butt for us, and as much as prices have gone insane, as much as like, we're I think there's still going to be room for this hobby to continue to move upward. That's just something I've been thinking about lately, but as my eyes are scalded with all the AI art that's out there.
Well, I always say, think about the virtual money and all those little Bitcoin companies that are going belly up now. It's almost the same thing with that. They had their hurrah, and then, now they're starting to wane away.
Right. Your money under the mattress is going to be worth something again.
Yes. Keeping money under the mattress pays for itself in the long run.
The main thing, I mean, the stuff that's already out there, I think will continue to be desirable. The fear for artists, of course, is that can they survive being able to find work and things when there's AI artists who are taking money from them because they can turn things around quicker and those sorts of things. And so that's why it's very important for those of us who collect original art to continue to be good patrons of the artists, because their professional work, their work for hire stuff might dry up a little bit, but hopefully they'll continue to be able to kind of work their way through this, because that's the biggest fear amongst artists.
Well, I think up till now, the AI art that I've seen, it's all sort of like one sort of like style, right? I mean, they haven't really sort of it's this sort of like animation-esque sort of like child storybook type of thing that, like, I mean, maybe I'm not describing it properly, but a lot of that art feels very similar. And I'm curious to know, like, when that technology gets better, like how they're going to sort of differentiate styles, and whether they're really going to be able to replicate what artists do now. You know, I don't know, but I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yes, we will. And Mike's being the class clown, of course, in the back of the room. But
Somebody
yeah.
mentioned cologne.
Oh yeah. Well, got a hot date tonight, huh?
He loves that cologne.
Yes, he does.
No, somebody mentioned haute cologne, so I wanted to show you.
But no, I mean, well, so I did want to ask you guys. I figure, you know, it shouldn't just be a happy, fun day. I mean, so what's sales been like for you guys in the new year? Because I'd say since January, it seems like every market report, the dealer numbers just sort of, you know, are not where they were in this point last year. I mean, it's not like the prices realized are any lower for the items, but are you seeing at least a slowdown in the volume of sales, you know, on your side of things, or?
Well,
You want to take that?
Well, I'll start. So January was kind of slow, and I was like a little concerned, but February was like stronger for me personally, and then March was better, and April's been pretty strong too, and so yeah, I mean, I think initially there was like some concern, sort of like with the economy, and people were sort of pulling back, but slowly but surely people have been sort of like trickling in and buying things. Maybe not like, you know, the $50,000 plus things, although I have sold a few of those, but you know, 2,000, 5,000, 6,000, you know, like in that arena, those things seem to sell pretty well. And yeah, I'm encouraged. I do think that, like, it's going to be a decent year. Maybe not quite as good as last year, but yeah, still a strong year.
I think it's gonna be hard to match last year. I mean, you know, 2021 was really strong, and then 2022 was like incredible as far as sales goes for me and a lot of others. My year's been a little more consistent. I mean, there are pieces that just don't make it to the website that, you know, they don't get reported because they never made it there. So I feel like, yes, there is a little more apprehension in the economy, and there's a ton of material for sale, not just from art dealers, as you know, but, you know, auction houses, you know, multiple podcasts. I mean, there's a lot of, you know, calf updates of, you know, collectors raising money. So, I mean, there's so many venues where artwork is coming out. I've never seen this much art for sale in any one period of time, but I feel like it's still strong.
Yeah, I agree with you, Will. I mean, competition feels a lot stronger. It does feel like, you know, not just like your show, Bill, but I mean, you know, there are like many venues now where it's like really, really easy to buy, you know, whereas 3 years ago when we started, it was sort of a different story. But
and the auction houses have really increased.
They've ramped up. Yeah. Like, I mean,
material.
It feels like every time I go to bed, I wake up in the morning and there's another auction going, and I'm like, you know.
I mean, Comic Link wedged another auction in there. I mean, it seems like they've always got one going on. There used to be at least a period of downtime, you know, before. Now there's like 2 focused auctions in between their featured auctions, and you know, and Heritage just seems to keep growing their Wednesday, you know, set every, you know, I mean, we know they're sitting on a ton, but so they have to. But it seemed like when they started, you know, their Wednesday auctions, they'd have maybe around 200 lots. Now they're sitting around 300 lots of art in there, and it's there's just no end in sight to the material, you know, on the market right now. That is for certain.
I got to tell you, Bill, on some Wednesday nights, so I usually tune into your show, you know, see if there's anything, but when it's, you know, Heritage Weekly, your show, Comic Link, I'm like switching, you know, between it's a little crazy.
I know. We wish we can kick them off of our Wednesday. We had that first before Comic Link and Heritage.
We moved to Wednesday, so everybody would get off, and then Heritage came, and then Comic Link came, and then Hakes came.
It's a crowded week.
All be on different nights.
Right.
I've been talking to Ameritrade about setting me up with like 3 monitors, and like they just have like the auction houses, and you know, no more nonsense like all this Wall Street like stocks and bonds and stuff. It's just different auction houses on each monitor, so I can
It's true.
Everything.
It's true. It's tough. But the thing is, I mean, I'd say in dueling dealers, we've seen a little bit of a downturn, in the last 12 months or something. But, it's at least the buyers are still there. We still attract an audience. But it is tough when you have three other things going on at one time. And Fred makes a good point as well. I mean, with all the high auction sales, a lot of people have been encouraged to sell choice pieces, over the last couple of years too. That's definitely been a boon. I mean, collectors this is like the best time ever to be a collector. There's so much great stuff on the market. I mean, maybe not the prices, but at least the choice material. We haven't seen artwork like this in the last 2.5 years, from the 10 years before that, practically. It's just been so incredible. How many Burn X-Men pages can keep coming out and and reaching the prices that they are? I mean, we never saw stuff like that.
Right. But the problem is bringing that wheelbarrow full of money, it's for me, it's really difficult when people show up with the wheelbarrow and I have to figure out where to stash all the piles of dollars, because it's
money belt, Glenn, money belt, right around the
no, it's like Germany. It's like Germany in the 1920s.
I haven't had that problem yet. Nobody's brought the wheelbarrow of cash up to my door, but I won't turn them away when they do.
I'm coming by with the RV and the wheelbarrow. I'll be at your house soon.
Perfect. Oh man. But Mike, what's going on over there? You look distressed. You must be reading the news or something.
No. I'm watching it.
He's still asleep.
Oh, I'm reading the comic. You haven't gotten to me.
How many more Cosmic Odyssey pages can we bring out of the woodwork? That's
I agree. How many are there?
No, you asked the other two guys how their last 3 years. I was waiting for you to come to me.
I was kind of thinking you'd pop in here. We talk all the time, but how's your last 3 years been, Mike?
No. Yeah, no. To me, the last 3 years have been the 3 best years I've ever had in history. So, and every year better. 2022 was my best year ever. 2021 up to that point was 2022 was the best ever. 2021 best ever. And this year I probably bought more art so far this year, not even counting going to Los Angeles to buy art from Dave Mazel. To me, it's been my best buy year in probably the past 10. We're only in May, so I'm finally getting offered a lot of art.
He came to LA to sell me art, Mike.
He came to LA to find love, Glenn. Come on.
Well, yeah, but he loves to sell a little bit of art when he's looking for love, doesn't he?
Yeah, I sold you art when I came out there.
I know. That's what I thought. You just came out to sell me art. Now I'm finding out you're here for love and you're buying art, and I'm feeling a little jealous.
No,
he's not a one collector man.
There's a couple of guys I've been talking to for 5 years. I said there's a couple of guys I've been talking to for 5 years that have been hesitant selling collections. Man, I'm offering them crazy money and I'm hoping they sell. So I would buy it from them, but we'll see how it goes.
So I have a question.
Half the fun is the hunt, as they say,
I have a question for you, Bill. What are your expectations with CAF Live this weekend?
I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm always nervous going into them. I was just checking the numbers to see where we were at with artworks and everything. I mean, because the last show we went over 5,000 pieces of art for sale. Right now we're sitting at 3,400. But everybody waits till the last day anyway. So I have a feeling we're going to cross 4,000 artworks available. But sales wise, you never know. I mean,
what on an aggregate level, like last year, what were sales versus like the year before? Was it up, down? I know
in 2021, I mean, the shows, I can just generalize the sales figures. The first show, in May of 2020 was around 500,000. Then November was around 700,000. In May of 2021, it went to like 1.2 million. November of 2021, it was at 1.5. May of 2022 is at 1.5, and November was around 1.4. So I'd say sales wise, I'd say the 1.4. I don't know if that's a downturn or not. Probably not. It's too early for that. But so this show will be, I think, sort of telling, right? You'll see where things shake out. I'm curious. I mean, I can't be nervous about it. I don't have any skin in the game really, but this is a good measuring point. I mean, the last Heritage Signature auction didn't have the big home run pieces. I mean, the big 6-figure pieces, and also they had one of their lowest signature auctions in the last 3 years. So, you know, that's kind of telling. I mean, it's, you know, and I've said this a lot too, that I think this was pretty prevalent and obvious in the November show, was that you didn't see people bringing a 6-figure piece to Comic Art Live. Whereas before that, you know, I think the 3 shows prior to that, we at least had, you know, I'm talking non-dealers, like collectors bringing pieces that they felt, you know, were a 6-figure piece, and some of them selling. We didn't see any in the November show. In fact, I think the highest priced collector piece in the November show might have been around $80,000. And I don't know where we're at today. I mean, I could tell you. I mean, I could look at it right now and see what the highest priced collector piece is.
So I think you have 3 screens already with stats.
I do.
Facts.
So let's see. If I take out anybody who's a dealer, we got one 6-figure piece from a non-dealer, and then the rest. And then it goes down from there. And then the next closest piece, again, I'm looking for non-dealer. Somebody that I don't work with would be at the $80,000 range. So, you know, I mean, so there's now that I'm looking at it, there's a lot of great pieces in here at the high price range. It's just what's going to sell, right? You know, where's people's sweet spot going to be, or, you know, are we going to, because I think even when we hit the 1.4 million, I think it was around 850 sales. So, you know, those kind of figures I can look at and just see, you know, where's the most activity, and what price ranges are the most active versus others. And so, but no, you know, I'll just say, I think it's going to do at least 1.25. And that'd be my guess, because there's a lot of, you know, I just expect there to be a lot of people in here buying, you know, but you never know. You know, like everybody said, there's so many opportunities to buy, but this is the show where you see a lot of collector pieces coming out, right? I mean, where you don't have any other real venue like CAF and Comic Art Live to have this opportunity for collectors to be in front of that many other collectors, you know, trying to sell stuff and hammering out deals behind the scenes, after, you know, with people making offers and whatnot. So I don't know. I'll be disappointed if we don't hit 1.25, but we'll see, right? I mean, there's nothing I can do. I can only build it, and then if it works, it works. If it doesn't,
it will come.
Exactly.
Right.
But yeah, so I see, you know, but I see, Will, you're participating. That's good. Glenn, I see you got some stuff in there. Bashar's got some pieces in here. Anthony's got some stuff. So a lot of the dealers are participating in this time around. So yeah, I'll be curious.
I haven't finalized everything yet, Bill. I'm still, you know, it's a process that I'm going through. So, you know, I'm
glad I don't have to sweat it. To me, I just have to run the panels, and I'm not even going heavy on panels this time around. I'm kind of burned out on, although I've been doing a lot of work the last.
No Anthony panels,
dude. You gotta be.
I am. I'm at the. But you know, we're working on some side stuff. I got some other people who you know, have been helping me a little bit on some things, and yeah. I mean, I can't do this forever at the same pace I've been doing it, because that's the one thing I looked at. 650 live streams in 3 years. That's a lot. I mean, and that's live streams. That's not like me posting a video, because there's over 800.
Those are the ones that you're involved with, or
yeah.
You have other shows under your banner, right? I mean, it's not just.
I mean, not really. I've got one show a month for that James Siegel hosts. So we have that, but by and large, I mean, 98% of those shows I was on, or, you know, and had a hand in. So that's almost 220 shows a year, and most of those have happened in the last 2 years. You know, the first year was pretty light. So yeah, at some point,
kind of the Johnny Carson of comic art.
Yeah, that's what it's feeling like. It does feel like I'm on there 5 nights a week sometimes, doesn't it? But yeah, I'll be happy.
We need to get you like an Ed McMahon to, you know, take some of the pressure off.
I do. I need that stand-in. Yeah, that can be here for a whole week at a time. But I am, you know, like, I'm not going to stream on Monday or Tuesday next week. I was just like, you know, I'm taking the days off. I'm going to see my mom in July, back up in Ohio. So I'm going to take 4 or 5 days off. Yes, actually, I haven't told you that yet, but I will be up in your neck of the woods around the 4th.
Oh. Well, I'm having my huge fireworks party on July 1st, Saturday. If somebody's local, contact me and you're invited.
Don't let them blow your hand up, Bill.
We have a huge 4th of July party every year. It's going to be awesome.
Took out my daughters one year with the fireworks.
With
the fireworks.
Yeah. No, I got you. I know what you meant.
Well, I wanted to make sure everybody in the chat, because I knew where that would go in a moment.
Hey, I'm a dad. I know what you meant.
but yeah, so who knows? But yeah, I'm going to do this for a while longer. But I think once, now that we're going to be doing OAX in Orlando, that's already taken up a lot of my time, just in the planning and running around and trying to just figure out, where we were going to host it. That took 2 months, and now I can see there's just going to be a lot of effort put into that. So, but with that, I hope to have a lot more volunteers, to kind of help me in different areas. But still, it's just it's like running another business. So, yeah. At any rate, it is what it is. I'm still having fun. I still got the energy. That's because I drink the Cokes every night. They should be my sponsor of this channel, not Heritage.
Maybe.
So, but yeah, but it does suck staying up till like 2 every night, though.
So with all the presentations that you're doing, I have to ask you, Bill, do you what about your collection in the past 3 years? We haven't discussed like what's happened with your collection, and more recently, have you had any time to peruse and purchase?
I have actually a little bit more. I mean, as everybody knows, I do a lot of my work for the dueling dealers and trades, so I've gotten a lot of art through that. But I have been buying more too. I've prior to, because remember when I owned the mini golf, I really didn't buy hardly anything in the 10-year period, and we sold the miniature golf course back last March. So I've been probably picking up a couple pieces every month. Yeah, and I just found out I have like an $11,000 tax bill from the final sale of the damn thing. So it's like the last dagger in my back. I just found out yesterday. Yeah, I'm like, how is that possible? I never had a tax bill in all these years. And they're like, well, the lost carryover, we were just kind of rolling with it, but now that you've sold it, this is where it hits you.
For the gains.
Well, if you want to show off any of that art, Bill, I know someone that can get you a calf gallery. I can put you in touch with it.
But I've been having a lot of fun though. I've been doing a lot of sales shows with artists the last year, and getting more involved with that. I had Adam Kubert on 3 weeks ago, Joe Linsner, both those shows, $80,000 in sales for the weekend. So those are fun, right? I'm getting to do things. I always talked about how artists were the one segment I didn't get to interact with through CAF, right? I worked with the collectors, the dealers, the auction houses, but I never worked with artists. They just didn't use the site, or it was just the only area of the hobby I didn't have any interaction with. So it's been kind of cool for the last year and a half to be working more with artists. And we don't even always just do sales shows. I'll just have an artist on for an interview. I've got Bill Reinhold on next month, George Pratt, Joe Staten, and those are all just interviewing artists. So I'm trying to branch out and make sure that I'm trying to just work with everybody. Whereas where it was just CAF, I never really had that opportunity to do that. So that's fun, and it's got more artists involved with Comic Art Live this go around. Mike Vosberg, who I've done sales shows with, has got a booth. He's put 48 pieces of art in there, so he's selling this weekend. I think Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor are having a booth, and I've been working with them a little bit the last couple months. So it's kind of cool. So I think it's actually working the way it should, right? Because I was actually thinking of going to Adam Kubert, being, come on, man, we're going to probably be doing these shows twice a year or whatever. How about you just put like 5 or 6 pieces in there every Comic Art Live? That way, it just adds something new, gives my, community something to look forward to, and you can sell a few pieces in an easy format. And so I feel like and that plus doing OAX is really going to kind of, make the hobby complete underneath my the things that I work on. So
you really need to make an offer on San Diego Comic-Con first. You gotta bring that into the fold.
No, that's
you need to take it over, Bill. So I have a question for you guys, since it's been 3 years, and I was thinking about this a little bit. The question is, does it feel like 3 years to you guys? Like think about that show that we did 3 years ago. Does that feel like 3 years of time in terms of passage? Does it feel longer? Does it feel shorter?
You know what the problem is? COVID time. I still suffer from COVID time. Like that time, you're like, oh, I did that last year. No, it was 2 years ago. I did that 2 years ago. No, it was 3 years ago. It's right. Ever since COVID, it's like that time frame gets all kind of melded together. So I don't know. it's in some ways it seems longer. In some ways it seems like it just happened a few months ago.
For me personally, it feels a lot longer. Like, I don't know, like, and I mean, a lot of monumental things have happened. Like both my parents passed like last year. And so obviously that's like a really stressful thing. But in addition to that, it feels, I don't know, it feels like, to me, like if you told me that was like 6 years ago, I'd buy it. Like it just feels like we were so much younger then.
What about you, Mike?
That feels about the same.
The same as what they're saying, or it feels like 3 years to you?
Yeah, it feels like 3 years.
See, what's funny is, Glenn, I feel younger than that clip that Bill showed because I was under like 2 pounds of beard. So and a pound of more hair. So
right, it's not easy.
I'm looking at I'm like, wow.
Not easy holding that chin up with the 2 pounds. I know.
I'm just saying. We were hibernating in COVID. So
and Bill, like, what about you? I mean, you've been working your tail off these past 3 years, obviously. Like, there's a visual proof to that, with the shows. But what does it feel like to you?
For me, it feels like it was a year. I mean, and that's being the truth. I'm not trying to like say, just to be opposite, but it's been a blur, and I think part of that is just because, it's like I never stopped working. Right. But I think but for me, it feels like it just happened. I can't imagine. It's hard to say this is the 7th Comic Art Live virtual show I'm doing. Holy shit. To me, so to me, it's like, how did I get here? It feels like I've only been, at it for a year and a half or something. And it's hard to kind of comprehend that it's been that long for me, and that I've actually made it through, that many shows and, where I'm at. So yeah, I just think, but it's mostly because I think I just haven't, I haven't taken that break yet. I haven't really had the opportunity to think about doing something else, even with the move, because that's just it. I had to move down here to Florida, so that involved a whole 6-month period. So I kept the same live stream schedule up through the whole thing. I'd come down here and just throw myself in one of the rooms and broadcast from that. So we just never really.
And you got hit by a cop car on your last drive.
I did. So there was never a moment where I was taking a break. So yeah, for me, it feels, I mean, at best a couple of years went by. I mean, and yeah, not throwing OAX in here too as an extra show. It's just, I just can't see how, where it's going to, where I'll feel like that. I wish it felt like that, like time passed, but,
right.
It is. Did I say a bad word, Jason? I hope I didn't. I see Jason saying I swore. Wes says it's a blur. Time seems to go faster.
But I
when
think
you
it's
get
gone
older.
faster just because it's been so busy.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think for me that's kind of where it's been. But it's okay. I never felt dull. I never was bored.
For me, the show that you started 3 years ago was we were in despair with COVID and everything, and it was a great thing. It really kept us busy and on target and on involved in a hobby that we all love, and so it's great to see the show continuing and your success and everything, and it was an important part of our lives, and I'm really glad that we were able to participate in it, and it's fun to come back now and be with you on your third. I said 30th. I was thinking it was like the 30th.
It felt like 30th. It's so weird. But the thing is, we had Sideshow Bob on, 3 weeks ago, and he talked a lot about how that first year was, and somebody mentioned in the chat, was like therapy, right? I mean, we all needed something to do. We were literally stuck in our houses and couldn't go anywhere. I mean, it was such a peculiar time, and what we did felt right. And as a community, I think it really, it was needed. And I didn't even realize how much it was needed, and until later, and finding out how important it was to a lot of people. But I mean, I think we all 4 of us would have gone stir crazy had we not been doing it. I mean, what would we have done? It was really so, we couldn't get out to shows, we couldn't hang out with friends in person, and and this thing really made a difference. I mean, that first show I remember I think we only had 6 comments in the first show for a 2-hour show. We only had 6 people leave a comment, but I mean, we've got 120 people watching the show tonight. We've probably already had like 400 or 500 comments go by, and it's made a difference. It made a really important difference, I think, in everybody's lives when we first, in that first year, because it was it was needed. That was like the strangest period of my entire life, was living through those first 2 years of COVID.
I think for all of us, yeah.
That was a strange time. Even the setup here and the administration is different from the last time I've been on here. So
exactly. It has created a real community. Yeah, thank you, Christopher. I completely agree. A different one outside of CAF. I mean, it's complemented CAF, but it's kind of done its own thing, and we've seen Nick Barucci start his EXP, and other channels out there doing other similar things. Kavi's had his New York City site. I think he's been doing it longer than me. So the thing is, it's given rise to a different medium for our hobby and a different way to kind of hang out and interact. I mean, it's wonderful. I think and yes, it's glad. I'm glad. Like I told Glenn at San Diego last year, it's like I really wanted to have both Will and Glenn on that show on the 2-year anniversary. But I was so crazy, as I usually am, I didn't take the time to have you guys back on. But yeah,
we'll come back. We'll come back once a year for any anniversary you have.
Yeah. Mike has his hand up, Mr. Bill, like he says.
Yeah, I'm waiting for you. You're the teacher, Bill.
Mike. Yes, Mike. What can you say?
No, I was going to say is I think the main thing. Think about the COVID. I still remember, and I think you three guys and everybody else in the audience agree, is we hit a month or 2 months in. I said, "Oh my God, I got to start selling stuff because the whole market's going to crash." Because the economy going down, I really thought the art market was going to crash. I was putting 100 pieces up a month on my website, thinking I better sell it because it's going to be worth 75% less by next year, because we didn't know how long this would last. And because I kept telling people when it started, it's going to last 2 years or more, and everybody laughed at me. And just from articles I was reading, and I really thought that the market was going to crash, and here it did the opposite.
Oh yeah.
So that was my take on.
Right. Well, that's why we did it. Remember the first show I did? I said, I reached out to pretty much everybody and just said, "What? I think this is a good idea, but what do you think? We got to do something. How are you guys going to sell any artwork? We need to create a virtual con or something." And that was the consensus I got from talking to you guys and people like Mark Hay, and so that was really the birth of the virtual show.
And remember, Bill, one of the four of us, I mentioned names. One of the four of us. Oh, good. I said yes. Selling art online is work.
Mike is streaming something at the same time.
I can't.
I think, Mike, you're in your AOL browser. You got to go to your Chrome browser. You're breaking up. You're breaking up. We didn't hear a word you said.
Don't you guys do a weekly show? Like, why isn't like get him some equipment?
Well, he always switches over to his other browser. I don't know. You're breaking up on
I'm
us.
A good one.
I don't know.
Oh, I'll talk slower than for you people.
No, that might be worse.
I said one of the four of us said, one of the four of us back then said, an online selling show is never going to work.
Yeah. Hey, enough of that. But get off my space, says NSN Art. That's right. He needs better apps. Yes, he does, James Siegel. So anyway, but no, I completely agree. I think we need to have you on a little more often than once every year is what the whole kind of intent on there. I mean, that was I felt like it was long overdue. We've just there was always I think good chemistry between the four of us when we were doing shows, and I think that there's plenty of opportunity to do more in the future. And as long as you guys are free, we should do more.
Yeah,
it wasn't anything other than me not looking. I just was so busy looking forward that I never really kind of thought about, doing more and bringing you guys back in.
Well, I think it's always good to talk about the hobby, and we have obviously a different perspective from a lot of collectors, just given how much material runs through our fingers, and so it's always like we should create some topics and think about doing some things around that.
Absolutely. Larry says the show is never better than with you four. Thank you, Larry.
Larry.
Larry's exhibiting in the show this weekend.
Larry got the virtual hug. Larry got the virtual hug.
I like Philip's comment also, how he loves how you pulled out all the stops, including Mike's sketchy
How does that happen? It's like Mike goes through every Dueling Dealers and he's fine, and then we get the four of us together and his internet goes funny again. I don't know.
I think you're just cutting my time down, Bill, on purpose for these two.
Nah, but listen. I caught your show last night,
connection on
and it was a little funky last night. You had to switch, right?
Well, yeah, I was on the other screen. See, when I go to Chrome, I have to click screens to look at my list of art and then get back live, and I have to go back and forth. But if I do it on the AOL, I can stay on the same screen. But I realize that's not working. So,
Mike, when the Spectrum bill comes to your house, you got to pay it, buddy. Like, I mean, you can't just let it languish. You know, like you can't deliver all those art packages in the.
I think that's West Coast.
I have AT&T.
All right, I'm just trying to get to the bottom of this here.
You need both of them, AT&T and Spectrum over there, Mike. Your house is just too big. That is the problem. You can't get internet at the far end of the mansion.
A close friend of the family got divorced, and the wife took the house, so I let him move into my basement. So
he's hogging your internet tonight. Now we know what the problem is.
Right now he's got a perfect connection, and you're breaking up.
And now I got two extra people for electricity and gas and water. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, you're going to find a way to meter his connection in the evening so you can stream, Mike. Yeah. Well, guys, I got a lot of show left to go here tonight, but like I said,
Bill, I just want to make sure you got the $20 that I sent you to get me into the CAF Live at 10:50 instead of 11. Did you get the $20?
I didn't want to say it during the show, but yes, I got your $20. $1 per minute. You get that early access, or even the premium members. So, but yeah, guys,
I'll have to send my 20 then, because I could use it.
No. This was my idea.
Oh, well.
This is not a community project, Will.
No, doesn't have to be community. I mean, we're not collecting much of the same stuff anymore. So,
all right.
Horseshack has something to say.
Somebody in the comments asked if we're going to Heroes Con. I believe all four of us are going to Heroes Con, right?
I'm gonna try. I have a problem. Like my wife wants me to travel with her to Italy.
Okay. I thought we were all going. I'm planning on going for my first one.
Well, I will. If I can work it out, I'll go. But I'm not sure yet.
I'm 60-40. We got to see what the next couple of weeks brings. It's hard to get coverage on the home front here. So, hey, if I can just before we jump off, I just say one thing. I was at my daughter's graduation earlier. I just want to say I'm very proud of her. My daughter, Jada, she just graduated with her bachelor's in biology pre-med. She's taken a gap year and then on to med school. So it was a great day for our family. And, you know, this is capped off the night coming back here and hanging out for a little bit. So
is she going to be buying any expensive art from you now that she's going to be a doctor and everything? I mean,
you know, I can get her to the movies, but you know, the artwork. Yeah.
Well, Mazel Tov, Will.
Yes. Congratulations. Let her know. That's wonderful.
Hey, finished on time. She did better than me.
So, but I would say, guys, if you can make it to Heroes, you should go. I mean, until OAX comes around, that is the show in the U.S. to go to as far as the best show for original art, and it's the number of artists. I mean, the dealers maybe not as heavy. It should change. I mean, Anthony's always there, but the thing is, Felix is always there, and Cadence goes there, and forget the other rep that's usually there. But bottom line is, there's always at least 300 CAF members at that show.
Yeah, no, so I know it's a heavily attended.
It's a good time, and again, it's a really, really good show. They got the art auction, and yes, Mike.
Oh, God! And I'll wait till everybody's done, then you can tell me. Go ahead, finish.
I was pretty much done there. I was just trying to extol the virtues of going to Heroes.
Me and Bill are having a big
thanks everybody. I appreciate the well.
Oh yeah. Happy graduation. John's Jess just turned 37 tonight. Happy birthday, Jess. Oh yeah.
All right. Well,
but July 10th, me and Bill are having a big art drop, so stay tuned. Put it on your calendar, folks. Monday, July 10th.
There you go. I go over the schedule every week, Mike. I was going to let him know July 10th, but that's right. I'm glad.
Oh, okay. Well, he remembered that one. He just didn't remember this one.
That's right, of course. Yes. But Will, Glenn, nice to have you on here again, and
good to be here.
It's been far too long, and Glenn, like you said, we'll come up with some concepts for shows to do together from as far as talks, and we'll get everybody together again.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
And one thing, next time, can we have like a cool way to like phase out, like, I don't know, something.
I wish we could do stuff like that. Hopefully this thing will have, because I wanted it to kind of be like we were
Maybe
going
we
back in
energize.
time when that video played, and then kind of easing back into here with us. So you can't do it yet, but
you got to do the old style special effects, Will. There we go.
and we got to get Will and Glenn into some memes at some point too. I don't know how we'll do that, but we'll work something out.
All right, but
You
I need
guys
a
know about the
T-shirt. I want
memes,
my
yeah.
own T-shirt.
That's right. That's true.
Remember, hey, back to the olden days. We have to hurry because Glenn has to go to dinner.
Oh, that's very true.
Remember those days?
True.
Hey guys, let's hurry up. I gotta go to
I
dinner.
do have to go to dinner. Damn you.
I just thought of that. It popped in there. That was the old days. I gotta go to dinner, guys. We gotta go.
I do. But luckily this isn't the 2-hour mark, so I'll be okay.
Yes. Back then it was 11 p.m. Eastern. I remember.
We got to keep Bill off his 2 or 2.5 or whatever it goes to.
Yeah, it could go to 3.
Woo.
But yeah, we'll see. I'll try to keep it brief tonight. But guys, again, it's a lot of fun. We're gonna do it again real soon. Have a good night, and thanks for doing this with me.
Hey,
Take care,
our
everybody.
pleasure. Great for hanging out with you. Thanks for all
Love
the
you
comments,
guys.
everybody.
All
Talk
right.
to you.
And congrats.
See you guys again soon.
All right. Good night. Thanks.
Hey, now how was that? That is like it was like going back in time, wasn't it? 3 years. I mean, well, I don't know when the last time was, probably like 2.5 years ago or so, right, when we were doing regular shows. But it was a lot of fun when the 4 of us were together. I completely agree with what everybody was saying in the chat, and I've always felt that too. Those were really good shows, and at the end of the day, different perspectives, right, on the hobby that we don't really do a lot of that. I mean, by and large, I do one-on-one interviews anymore, so just different. When we all know how much fun the collector conversation shows were that we did, getting 4 or 5 different people from the hobby together for a conversation. It was, just had a different energy, different vibe, and definitely totally different outlooks on on the hobby and any of the topics that we were talking about. So yeah, we need to bring that back, and I look forward to working with all 3 of them again in that capacity going forward. So yeah, that's welcome back, Cotter, says West. Of course, that's why I was calling Mike Horshack, right? I mean, he was always raising his hand, and everybody wanted to ignore him, but we love Mike. Yep, we do. So let's see. I got my long list of stuff to talk about. Boy, I mean, where to start? But I guess we should probably be talking about Comic Art Live a little bit, since we've already talked about it already. I mean, like I mentioned, we're on our way easily to hitting the 4,000 pieces of art for sale during the show. That's definitely going to happen. I don't see how we're going to miss that. More than likely, we'll probably end up at 5,000 just at the pace we're going on. And right now, like I say, it's at 3,500 pieces of art, 246 exhibitors. We've actually had 3 or 4 premium payments come in since the show started. So that's probably people who like to do their 3-month premium payments so that they can have a booth. So I've got to check up on them. But and I know I need to get Chris Snorrick his studio link. He's probably emailed me already a few times as well. But I'll do that, Chris, when I play a video. Don't you worry. So, but yeah, Comic Art Live as a show is a lot of fun to do. I mean, we did put a fair amount of work into this one that isn't going to show up for a lot of people. We finally got the checkout system integrated. Andy and Veronica Fish will be the ones that have it integrated into their exhibitor booth. I'll also have it integrated into mine. So I'll have a few pieces of art for sale too, but I don't think it's any, you're not going to buy anything from me. You're going to buy everything from Andy and Veronica. But those of you, yeah, I knew you were being patient, Chris. But definitely I encourage everybody to go to Andy and Veronica's booth early on. Andy did say he wasn't bringing as much as he's brought in the past, but he always brings some originals from himself and Veronica. And I think he's bringing some other pieces from his collection as well. So, yeah, I mean, anybody who uses the checkout system, hit me up. And if you have any issues with it or think you'd like to see the flow be different, you didn't like the receipt email you got, all that sort of stuff, let me know. But because, I think where we'll be at for the November show is that opportunity to use a checkout will be available to everyone who wants to participate in that. And we'll have, there'll be stuff to talk about with regards to that, and a lot of information to kind of push out there regarding how Stripe works and all those sorts of things. But it's going to be cool. It's nice to finally have it. It gives us the opportunity to integrate real-time checkouts into CAF going forward. And, it's just nice to kind of have that programming done. And I feel like I've been talking about it ever since the second show that we hosted in November 2020. That was always the number one complaint. People wish that they could just check out, buy what they wanted, and move on and not have to wait for a seller to get back with them. So, now we'll have that opportunity. It's just a question of how many people want to use it or not. Glenn versus Will Dueling Amateurs. No, we're not going to do that, Marcus. But, good idea. Good idea. Let's see here. Great. Gosh, you guys, I didn't see the imminent post that Chris posted today. But I do appreciate hearing that, Lyle. I do have some good art. Not enough on the walls, though. But let's see. So, yeah, I think we'll probably end up closer to 5,000 pieces of art and 300 sellers, but when all is said and done. So we'll see how that goes. But the schedule-wise, I can show you. We lost a panel. I had a panel set up with Bart Sears, and he has backed out of that. Just too busy, too many other things going on. So I can just quickly show you the panel schedule so you know what's going on the weekend. Let me swing a couple things around here. Share the screen. There we go. So yeah, so that's where we're at right now. Total number of pieces and the exhibitors. But panel stuff, Nick Klein will start us off on Saturday at 3. Damon Hampton and Dennis Cowan will be my guests at 4. And then Bart Sears canceled on the 5 p.m. I may have somebody filling that one. I'm not sure yet. But Ken from 4C and Anthony Snyder will be at 6 o'clock on Saturday doing the Wheel of Deals. It'll be Anthony's artwork that they'll be wheeling and dealing. So for those of you who like to get a bargain, that will be the show for you. And if, Bill has no mail. What do you mean I have no mail? Oh, I don't have an email, do I? Well, I won't look back up there right now. Anyway, so after that, we'll have some time off, and then I'll have Next Comic Art on at 9 p.m. to do an art drop like we do with them every Saturday night at 9 during the show. Then back over to Sunday, we've got Anthony Snyder doing his show at noon, like he always does. Now, Anthony is actually willing to take some offers from his website, and I don't know how much PR he's done for that, but if you want to make him some offers, just like we do when I'm hosting it, although I won't be hosting this one for him, he's handling this one all by himself. You can email the art room at anthonysnyder.com and send him links from his site and tell him what your offer is on his pieces. I think he said he was going to take 20 offers. So anybody who sends them in, he sent some emails out to his list. But again, I don't know how much he's pushed it, but I know that that's what he's doing. He's going to be doing a make offer show and probably have some of his own new merchandise, Karate to Butts, to drop during the show as well. Then I will have Paulo Rivera on at 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock on Sunday. And Paulo, he's a regular. He's been on all but one of the Comic Art Lives that we've had, of course. And he will have 4 small pieces that will go up at auction and 1 large piece. The large piece is a Daredevil kind of bust painting. And the smaller pieces are kind of like corner box art. I know one of them is The Thing. I don't know what the other 3 are because I don't follow them on Instagram. But they'll all be for auction. We do them one at a time. It will just be Paulo and I because both Mark Hay and Mark Walters are not available. So that'll be fun. I get Paulo all to myself, so I'll get to ask him anything I want. And but his stuff usually sells, those small pieces. They're like on 4x6 board with a I don't know, the heads are like 3 inches tall, but those things typically sell for like anywhere between $450, $600. So they're just slick as only Paulo can do them. And then, so expect that, but it should be good. And I'll probably want to buy one, but I can't bid. Then I've got Tom Grummett coming in. Ken from 4C will be interviewing him. Then look at that. It's a collector conversation with Larry hosting it. Larry is going to be in charge of our first collector conversation in the last year and a half. So he's got Derek and Michael and also Mr. Sharp joining him for that. And I thought about putting my head on the Thor, but I haven't yet. But if I have time, if I'm not too tired, I will probably join in on that collector conversation. So that will be at 4 p.m. on Sunday. Then at 5 p.m. Now I know we've got Dino. He is the legendary art lord. And just look for that logo, because that is the logo that Dino will be using, of course, for his booth this weekend. Dino is busy this weekend, but he is going to give me a set of desirable pieces, things that he feels are good deals, or or should be of interest to everybody. And so it'll be a way to kind of give everybody another 4 hours, because the show closes at 10, where we just kind of go over the pieces that we think are of interest and still available during Comic Art Live. And you've got that opportunity to hunt around, and we'll put the links in the chat, and you can potentially decide whether or not they're good deals or not. But we thought it'd be fun, and I'm actually putting out solicitations right now, so that I don't have to do that show alone. If you want to do it, shoot me an email. We can hang out. All you have to do, because when you're on the site, you can easily be liking items as you go around. So that way it gives you a list of things that you think are decent. So if anybody wants to join me for that hour and talk about pieces that you passed on but you think are still decent buys or interesting pieces worth consideration, just let me know. But email me. Don't tell me in the chat that you want to do it. Email me, bill@comicartfans.com, and I'll take a few people to join me on it. When is it? It is going to be at 5 o'clock on Sunday, Jason. So 5 o'clock Sunday is when I'll be doing that. And then I'll do my recap at 8 o'clock on Sunday, and just go over the pros and cons of number 7. And I should probably, just as reminders, we can go look at what do we got here. Let me see. Refresh it and pick something different. I don't know. Perry Roden artwork. Just remember that it's saving artwork when you're in here. Remember, that's something that's easy to do. You just click usually it's the heart icon for liking and thumbs up artwork when you're on Comic Art Live. But during the show, when you click that, it's really saving it. And there will be underneath your Comic Art Live menu here a link for saved artworks. So while you're browsing around and you don't want to make an offer on something, you don't want to buy it, but you're interested in it, go ahead and hit save on it. That'll give you the opportunity to go back and review anything that you thought you might want to look at later on. So that way you don't have to worry about having a notepad in front of you and making notes about who had what. Just do that, and it'll be available the whole weekend, easy to fall back on. It just makes your life a whole lot easier. You can also save sellers too. That is another option when you're in. I don't know if I want to go over to the dealer hall or the seller hall right now. I won't. But you can also save or favorite sellers. It makes it easier to go back and find them as well. But as premium member knows, when we drop the artwork at 11 o'clock, you'll have had 30 minutes of previewing your want list keyword searches, because we lock the booths at 10 a.m. each day to the art drop, and then by 10:15 we'll run a procedure that will generate a list that matches your CAF keywords to the artwork available in Comic Art Live. So, and as soon as that's done, I will send out an email to everyone who has anything in their list, letting them know that they can go and review their items that match their keywords. So let's see. And Scott was actually asking me that exact question. And just as a reminder for those of you who are premium members, there is underneath your account and collection menu, there is something called your Comic Art want list, right? Now, the old want list was just this thing where you could kind of post, I want these things and blah, blah, blah. And, but the newfangled want list, and this is available to everybody, anybody, even non-premium members get access to this wonderful feature on CAF. Their premium members still are only allowed to get 10 keywords in here, but non-premium members get, premium members get 20, non-premiums get 10. But you just go in and enter in 20 keywords, up to 20 keywords. Now, for Comic Art Live, this generates a list just for you on those 20 keywords. But also, for those of you who are savvy, you're using this for the daily keyword alerts that happen as it happens. When new art gets added to dealers and classifieds and all that sort of thing, this set of keywords generate search emails. Like Mike Berkey told me this morning, he's like, I sold that Batman piece he couldn't sell last night. He says, I sold it in 5 minutes. And I'm like, he goes, from putting it on the site, I told you it would sell. I'm like, yeah, it sold because it went out in the CAF want list. So, you know, when you added it to your site, he gave me them. That wasn't it. But it's true. This feature is the best feature on CAF. I should expand it, let premium members have even more keywords in there. But bottom line is this keyword set, again, it is under the Your Account and menu, and it's your Comic Art want list. Get in there, add some keywords. Non-premium members don't get anything for Comic Art Live, but like during any normal business day, non-premium members also get a keyword alert email, but it's sent, I think, 8 hours delayed. So in many cases, non-premium members don't even know that something that they wanted to buy happened, or it was even available, because by the time their 8 hours are up, the item's already sold, and so we don't notify them it ever happened. But premium members in the know always use this. So yes, so make sure you get some keywords in there before Saturday if you don't have any in there already, and you'll be very happy to see that you'll get to preview the art in the hall, who owns it, and you'll have your marching orders set for yourself right away to start Comic Art Live on Saturday. And then also on Sunday, just remember on Sunday, Saturday the hall is open to premium members only from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. But on Sunday, even though the premium members are getting their keyword alert email by 10:30 a.m., the art drops for everybody at 11. So the only real advantage for premium members is just having, knowing where it's going to be and being able to refresh that exhibitor booth at 11 o'clock to get in there and buy their art. So yeah, it's a good feature, and I know premium members love it. And Paul says more keyword entries would be appreciated. Well, I think at this point, we bought our new SQL server just a year and a half ago, and this was built about a year and a half before that. And we always felt like we didn't want to beat up the database server too much, but the new database server is phenomenal. I mean, I rebooted it on Tuesday morning, and I bet nobody noticed it. It's such a fast machine, and reboots in under 2 minutes, and it is what it is. And also, everybody wants more keywords. All right. It isn't everyone is here tonight, so you have to click on each keyword like last year. Well, you mean in the filter, Derek? I mean, that's I'm trying to remember. I haven't seen it in 6 months, but yeah, remember, I think it defaults to, we send you to a page. It's not sent to you in an email. We tell you that your keyword results are generated for you. You will come into CAF and you will be able to see them. But yeah, the email goes out, I can't show it to you right now because I don't have it linked in here, and I haven't run it or pre-populated it yet. I guess I could have done that for you guys. But anyways, when you get on it'll default to your first keyword. So for me, you can see it's Frank Cho. So Cho is the first keyword. When I go to my keyword page for Comic Art Live, it's going to show me all the Cho artwork. And then I have to click coffee. Well, I don't know why the hell coffee is a keyword in my set, but it is. No wonder I'm not getting a lot of keyword emails. But then Kamolo or Cover or Frank Miller. Yeah, you have to click on the names, but it won't show you the name if there aren't any results. Because remember, there's some people who are going to just put in Cover, or have a generic thing like Splash or Interior or something, and they're going to generate 1,000 keyword alerts in that one set. I don't want to try to load 1,000 items on a page, so I'd rather have it just by keyword. So yep, that's how it's still going to work. But I heard on the internet that keyword data will be sold. No one's come calling for marketing data on comic art, unfortunately. Let's see. Chris says he's not part of the group. Can I participate in CAF Live? You can always participate in CAF Live, Chris. So yeah, I don't know about the coffee art. I'm gonna have to take that out of there. Why don't I just fix that right now and take coffee out of my keyword search? I have absolutely no idea. That sounds like something like when Maureen was testing with my stuff, she put coffee in there, because I would never have done that. Don't you hate it when your wife uses your account to experiment with on the site? So data ray bill. All right, Marcus, I love it. So other than that, I can't think of anything other than that's probably all I wanted to cover with regards to Comic Art Live. If anybody ends up having any questions with booth setup stuff, whatnot, hit me up before Saturday morning. Saturday morning rolls around, I'm putting out fires and dealing with lots of other things. So if anybody has issues with booth setup, please let me know tonight or tomorrow, and I can assist you get through whatever those challenges may be. But yeah, I'm glad everybody's having a good time tonight. This is a good chat. Yeah, I'm just trying to think through this. Any other thing here? That's all the expensive art. I got all the panels that I talked about. Yeah, I mean, I think we're I've got a couple of people who are maybe doing extra panels, so we'll see. Those might change. Let's see. Jerry wanted to do you do some sort of reveal for the mystery sketches? That's a good question, Jerry. Tomorrow night at 9 o'clock is our kickoff show, and I could have it on the schedule, but we can talk about it here. We've done it the last two mystery sketches. Our Friday night 9 p.m. show is we invite all of the artists that are doing mystery sketches to join if they want to, and we really only ever get a handful, like 8 or 9 tend to show up. But they'll join the live stream. They'll be working on their sketches live, the ones that do choose to show up. So some of you may actually get to find out who had you as their artist. So, but other than that, it's a 2-hour opportunity just to kind of hang out and chat with some of the artists. I mean, usually a lot of Jiggy's guys are there. I don't know if anybody from Tatiana's group or Ken's team are going to be there, but invites will be sent out to all of them. And I will draw the winner of whoever is the lucky sketch buyer. We'll get this Dan Brereton 9x12 Ghost Rider that I think somebody said we should convert into a mask. I think they were right. Look at that. That actually looks pretty good. So yeah, I can wear that to bed tonight and see what Maureen says. Probably won't be allowed back in bed for a while, but yeah, Dan sent this with some other stuff for me, and I told him I wanted to give it away as a gift. So one winner. Now I can tell you that we didn't hit my goal, but we came pretty close. I think we sold almost 230 sketch opportunities. So I'm really proud of everybody who really turned out to make that happen. I mean, we were just under 200 with 100. Sorry, 100. 130 sold, not 200. Wow, if it was 200, that'd be a lot. No, it was 130. Last show we did just under 100. We did like 98. So we sold about 35 more this time around. Have any of the mystery? Well, I tell you, and I sent on Monday, at the end of Monday, so Tuesday morning, I pulled the lists and randomized them and sent them out to the 4 reps and to Dan. So they do have them. So some of them are started. That's kind of, with the way we always expect it, we want everything in the mail within 2 weeks of the show ending. So trying to get the lists into the artist's hands, as early as possible is important that way, because some of the artists have 3 or 4 to do. So if they can get one done before the show even starts, all the better. And if they get one done over the weekend of the show and one done the week after, then they get their 3 or 4 done, and everything works out well for everybody. So, because the goal for me is to get those things delivered, as quick as possible. All of Jiggy's, of course, are sent to me, and then I will mail those out. And I know that Jiggy, he had the most artists in it, so I don't remember what his count was, but somewhere around low 40s or something. So he had a lot to do, but his guys tend to turn things around pretty quickly. Bill, did you get my 20 from? Oh yeah, Jason, I got your 20 guaranteed. Your artist of choice will be out there. Save on shipping. Yes, that's exactly what because when Jiggy has to ship, it's $50 per item. So that's why he ships them to me. I pack the artwork for him, and then I ship them out. So it is what it is. But again, I'm happy that we were able to sell as many as we did. It's definitely a record for that, and we can always keep doing better. I mean, I hope one day we're selling 200 of those. That would be great. That means we're employing more artists. And I did reach out. I reached out to Adam Kubert about it, and he said, You know, he was at 2 shows the weekends. Well, I don't know if he was out of show last week, but he's been at a couple shows this past month and going to other shows. So he said he couldn't do it, but to ask him for November. So, you know, hopefully if I could get a couple to add him. You know, I asked Mike Oming, he was busy, but, you know, I'm going to try to, you know, get some of the people that we work with regularly on the channel to do just a couple, and that will just add to the intrigue on which artists you're going to get, right? If we can get a few bigger name artists doing it. Not that we don't already have bigger names. I mean, we've got Alex Saviuk doing pieces this time. Bill Morrison's doing some. Rian Gonzalez is doing some. Mannix is doing some. So, you know, it's definitely a good set of artists doing our mystery sketches this time around. But if you tune in tomorrow night, I'll draw the winner of the Dan Brereton Ghost Rider, and we will also get to see some of the artists working. I'm sure Jiggy, you'll be hanging out with me, and you're going to see Nick's preview for the EXP in a little bit. But Nick is also doing a show tomorrow night at 7, like he always does. But this time around, he will be having on many of the exhibitors from Comic Art Live, and they will be doing a little bit of a preview of some of the artworks that they're bringing. So I don't know what part of that show that's going to happen, but for those of you that can tune into the EXP tomorrow, you'll also be getting a preview of some of the artwork that's going to be in Comic Art Live over the weekend. So it would be wise for you to do that. So I know Nick will be selling some artwork, but he'll have on 5 to 7 booth owners, you know, exhibitors out there. Yeah, he is, Jason. He definitely is. Yeah, sorry. Let's see if I buy from G. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, Marcus. I can't answer that. Marcus sent me a really fun graphic the other day too. I meant to pull it over as a slide, and I forgot, so I'll have to do that next week. But Marcus is always he's always thinking out of the box. I like the way he thinks. So yes, it'll be an expanded lineup tomorrow, Rick Welch. All right, well, I think that's probably about it. I mean, if anybody thinks of any other Comic Art Live related questions throughout the show, feel free to ask, and I will highlight them and answer them as best I can. But I think we got through all the good stuff here. But I could just one last reminder for those of you who aren't familiar with Comic Art Live: when the show starts at 11 o'clock for premium members. Of course, it basically the show opens up at 11, but all of those other people are just forming a long line waiting to get in. But when 11 o'clock rolls around, 11 a.m. on Saturday Eastern Standard Time, the whole eBay bar at the top is replaced. It will start showing all of the items that are in the show for sale from every seller, random. So it's going to pull from that. And there will also be a link in this position that will show you whatever panel is going on at that given time. The Comic Art Live graphic that you see here will actually move to the top of this column, and it will say click here to enter Comic Art Live. So that'll be there. The Comic Art Live rollover menu will be populated with all the things that you're used to seeing, your liked art. There will also be, we're actually tracking your sent items now, everybody. That's a new feature that you haven't had before. I think that's something we've been asked to do numerous times. Well, we finally are doing it. You'll be able to see which pieces you sent emails on and what you said. So you'll be able to, that'll be out there for you for a while after the show as well. So that'll be in there. Your saved exhibitor list will be in there. For premium members, their keyword alert will be linked underneath the Comic Art Live menu. So that happens as well. So it is easy to understand how to get into Comic Art Live when it goes live, or at least it should be. Because I remember in the first few shows, there was always some level of confusion about that. But yeah, it's pretty you can't avoid it. You will fall into and trip into Comic Art Live one way or another. But it is a little infuriating, I think, for the people who are non-premium. But I don't have a good way to do it. The non-premium people actually see everything showing up there in the top bar, and they're like, "Oh, I'd like to buy that," and they click on it, and it just comes back and says, "Sorry, you're not premium. Come back at 1 o'clock." So I end up having at least every show a dozen people go premium in that first 2 hours because they can't get in and they want to get in. Let's see what it's got to say. I noticed. Oh, that's another thing to point out. I noticed the other day I received 2 feedbacks as a buyer, but couldn't figure out how to leave the seller feedback. Is it one way buyer only or missing something? Let's see. Well, it was removed, Scott. The way when I pulled it all out of the menu, basically I figured that sellers stopped sending feedback. It is a one-way loop at this time, where the seller leaves feedback for the buyer, then the buyer can leave feedback for the seller. While we haven't implemented it yet, for those sellers that are using the live checkout, when purchases are made there, we do want to allow the buyer to leave seller feedback if the seller hasn't left them feedback. But that is not implemented yet. I mean, Andy and Veronica are the only ones who are probably going to be selling art through the new system. But in the old system, seller has to send feedback first, buyer can do it second. But because somehow you got feedback as a buyer, I've already pulled those links out of that one link. There's a link underneath Comic Art Live when the show is over that says to leave feedback. And as a seller, you're going to see everything that you marked as sold, and you can leave feedback on it. But buyers have to wait for the seller to do that. So all I can tell you is, buyers, trust me, I sent out at least 5 or 6 emails after the show was over last year, reminding the sellers, please, mark your items as sold. Please leave feedback for your buyers so that they can leave feedback for you. It works both ways. It's good for you. It's good, it's good for them, and then it's good for you. So please do it. So I do everything in my power to stress to the exhibitors to leave feedback for their buyers after the fact. But so that's where that's at. That link will appear again, Scott, after the show is over. So at that point, but I don't know. I don't think you'll be able to leave feedback for past shows. So you may be out of luck. But I apologize for that. But when you got feedback as a buyer, you should have gotten an email saying that you got feedback. So if you didn't, that would be a little weird. So anyway, moving right along, you'll just expect a few more emails throughout the weekend. You know how that goes. I hate to be a pest and a nuisance with sending out reminders about the show, but I have to do it. So it's, especially to the exhibitors. I got a couple more emails to go out to them. Let's go ahead and since I've kind of already half reviewed the schedule, we might as well just look at the schedule right away here. That, like I mentioned, Mystery Sketch Night is on Friday. Comic Art Live panels and Comic Art Live is a virtual show is all weekend. I've got everything else is pretty much we've seen it before, except for a few things. Comic Connect, Joe State and George Pratt. I've got the Kevin Nolan sale Saturday the 10th. I got Jeff Mart's team is going to be with me on Tuesday the 12th. And I've got Alex Winter on the 13th. I'll be at Heroes Con the 15th through the 18th. As everybody knows, at Heroes on the 15th is the kickoff party for Heroes. They might as well call it the CAF party, but it is a hero kickoff party. We know that we'll dominate the people at that show, at that party, but I hope many of you can go to that. I haven't got any links for it, but as soon as I do, I will let you know. I think there was a $10 entry fee cover charge to get in last year. Got Prop Store on. Simone is going to be on with an art sale. A Bill Reinhold interview. Mike Berkey's pre-San Diego thing on the 10th. Who else did I add on here? Amanda Connor. I'll be doing an art sale show with her Saturday, September 2nd. So I think that's the only other new art sale that I've got going on there. But and then I was trying to get them in sooner, but that was really the first day that works best for us. But I can't wait to have a show with Amanda and talk to her a bit about her career and sell some new artwork that nobody's ever seen before. So I'm excited for that. And always going to be fun. Amanda Connor, exactly. Very cool. And the Joe Staten interview is going to be fun. I have to thank Tom McDonald for that. He said, would you like to do it? And, he had Joe's contact info. And so he kind of helped set that up. And I'm looking forward to that. I've never talked to Joe before, but love his work. And he's still out there drawing at cons. Just, he's pretty amazing. Work is very consistent. So, you know what we're going to move to now? We're going to jump right over into the packages. So I've got 3 packages here. First up, I got 2 from Anthony. Now this one, I don't think it's a comic book. It could be, but you never know with Anthony, right? But let's see here. Anthony, because I know what the second item is. Maureen wanted a piece of art off of Anthony's, actually from his last sale, from the sale that I beat him at. So, because Maureen ran in after the show, she was like, I want that one. And so she claimed it. All right, what do we got here? Okay, well... All right, so Anthony, he's still running on his beheading kick. So he sent me 3 comic books with beheadings on them. So we've got a Star Wars Darth Vader with a, what is it? Darth beheading right there. Yeah, I could have gotten free shipping, but I did get free shipping. He just sends these to me. Then we got a Predator, right? And the Predator with a beheading. All right, and Anthony, beheading. Thank you, Anthony. And one more time, looks like White Queen and Iron Man, the Invincible Iron Man. Another beheading. 3 beheadings from Anthony. So there you have it. Thank you, Anthony. 3 comics for me to read. Anthony's keeping it real. So I don't know. This feels a lot heavier than one piece of artwork, but we'll see. This is what I think is the artwork that Maureen requested last week. Let's see if I can actually get in here properly. Hey, look at that. Becoming a surgeon after all these years. 3 years down, and I'm finally able to open a package with the greatest of ease. Let's see. Man, how many layers? He wanted to make sure Maureen got this art. Oh, he's because he got a portfolio in here too. That's why it was heavy. What is that? Beheadings are fine, but no skulls. That's right. Let's see. All right. Packing tape on the bed. There you go. Lots of Dueling Dealer stickers on it. Now let's see. The art's in there. Okay. Well, and it's an untaped DPS. And this was the Salvador LaRocca. What was it from? Iron Man issue 20. So I don't know if anybody watched the show where I whooped Anthony. That is one half of the DPS right there. You get that Cap and a few other guys on there, and then I guess that's what is that Tony Stark? Is he's down for the count? So that was the piece. I don't know. Yeah, Maureen just saw it. She said she had to have it. So Maureen is now the proud owner of that and one of Anthony's portfolios. Thank you, Anthony. Use a hair dye to soften the glue. Okay, Marcus, that's good tips. Is that coming from experience? Because I don't know anything about that. Yes, great pages. All right. So it takes forever to peel those stickers off. I know that. I've given up on that, Rich. All right, so I got this from Nick Patera. Nick, he told me, gosh, when did he tell me? A couple months ago he's going to send me something, and it came in the mail. It came in the mail on like Friday, so I've had to sit on this thing for a whole week. And Nick, I don't know if Nick's in the audience tonight. I told him I was going to open it tonight, but I haven't seen him in the chat tonight. So maybe I'll have to thank him by email after the show here. But let's see. Wow, nope, not opening it that way. It's a secret which side I can open it. All right, so my package opening prowess has failed me because this thing isn't coming open. No matter which way. Aha, I found it. All right, now we're gonna get in here. There we go. I know, I can't wait to see what it is. Oh, let's see. Oh, Kuroshi Comics. That's Nick Patera. Oh, you changed your name. Okay. Well, that's why I wouldn't notice you. All right, let's see here. All right, I'm getting there. We need to play music while I'm doing this. All right. Now, let's see here. Well, it is a piece of art. It's properly taped. I see that Nick went to the school that we all go to, the one where you use painter's tape to tape the art down to the board. Perfect way to do it. Let me get this off of here. And this one right there. All right. I got that done. Now there is a letter on top. It says, Bill, thanks for everything you do for the OA community. Nick Patera. I'm going to save that, Nick, with the artwork. Thank you so much. And, oh, man. Wow. Well, this is awesome, Nick. man, I have not. No, I've never owned a Art Adams original before, but now I can say that. Well, I actually had a prelim once, so I'm gonna take it out of the bag here so I can show it off because I know there'll be a lot of glare on this thing otherwise. Yeah, oh, that's awesome. That's gorgeous. So here we have some Monkey Man and O'Brien from issue 2. Look at that. Look at that panel right there. That is awesome. And truly, this Nick, I can't thank you enough, man. I mean, you had that great crowdfunding thing, man. I just put some links out there for you. See, now I'm out of focus again permanently. Here, maybe I should lean in. My hand is in focus. There we go. Yeah, there we are. It is amazing. Now this is so thoughtful, man. I appreciate it, Nick. This is great. And I did ask Nick to go to OAX, everybody, and Nick said that he was going to put it on his calendar. So I do hope that Nick is able to make it. I will do everything in my power to get Nick to the show too, because I want to be able to hang out with him in person. And see, so that my list of OAX artists is long. But Nick was he's one of the early people that I've asked to be there. So Nick, thank you so much, man. This means a lot. It really does. I sincerely appreciate it. And it's cool. I mean, like I say, Art Adams is always somebody that I've always loved, but because I love X-Men and things, it's like it's hard to find like that right piece that you can actually afford. But I've always liked the Monkey Man O'Brien stuff, and this is awesome. Sweet. Well, thank you. You mean the Axe Wielder John? Yes, exactly. The greatest. What was that? What did Chuck say? The greatest novel of 2023. I would have to agree to that. The art was pretty incredible. I know that all sold really well too. Octavio wants to have arm wrestling at OAX. Well, as long as Fish doesn't get to participate in the arm wrestling, we can do that. See, and I was talking with Will and Glenn about OAX before the show. And they were like, well, what's going to be different about OAX? How is OAX going to, and I'm like, well, it's not going to be anything like, Comic Art Con in New Jersey or Bashar shows and whatnot. I was just like, I want my shows to be different. I want our show to be, because to me, it's our show, right? I want it to be an extension of what we've been doing here, whether it's the sales shows or the interactions that we've been doing. It's taking what we've been doing virtually and putting it out there for all of us to enjoy in person. So, there's that. I mean, I'm not going to be stodgy about the show. I want it to be fun. Don't be surprised if you don't see like a mannequin with Billigan's outfit on it, something just to make you laugh. So, I mean, it's a serious art show, of course, but I want to at least have some of the things that have been enjoyable for all of us the last 3 years as kind of a part of it, to kind of just keep things enjoyable, fun, and it'll give us lasting memories like the show has done for the last 3 years. So let's see. Antoine says, I want the cover to New Mutant Special Edition. Yeah, I agree with you, Antoine. That is one of Art Adams' best. I completely agree. But yeah, so when we were talking about that, and because they were like, well, it could be a lot like Como or whatnot. And I'm like, well, it's hard to not compare it to Como because it's, kind of an artist centric show. And also, we're going to have dealers and auction houses represented there, but it's going to be really kind of along with the vision that I have for what I'd want my show to be. So, there's only so many ways to skin a cat, right? There's only so many ways you can interview somebody on a live stream. So, you can't say he's copying you or something like that. I mean, because how many ways can you do something like that? So how many ways can you have an art show or anything? It's always going to draw comparisons, but it'll be uniquely CAF Comic Art Live centric, and it'll be fun. How long before DeSantis shuts it down? I have no idea, Rich, but we're going to find out. We are going to find out. I'm in the heart of I'm right there in Orlando. We're going to have it's going to be a good time. So I don't think we're going to get shut down though. But the cool thing is that I've run into a lot of OA collectors in the Orlando area. I'm a little, but not even just Orlando, but everywhere from like Tampa to even well, even up to Tallahassee, because I went to a couple different shows since I've been here, and it's funny. I mean, I didn't know there were that many original art collectors in the area. I was running into people who I knew their CAF name, but I'd never met them before. And so, yeah, I think, what I was worried about initially, was, are you going to be able to draw from a local collector base, I think we're going to do really, really well, just from the local collectors, and it's going to be fun and bringing a lot of people outside of that. Wayne wants to know, do we have access to our booth from November? No, Wayne. Well, you did up until like a week ago, but we do clear everything out, Wayne. If that's really what your question is about, having access to the November booth. But yeah, we do close out the booth because we encourage everybody to move everything out of their booth into their calf gallery. It doesn't work both ways. You can't move stuff from your calf gallery into your booth, but you can take stuff out of your booth and put it back into your calf gallery. There is, like Rich just said, a good side trip for Canadian snowbirds. Exactly. The last week in January. I really do think that OAX is going to just be a fun destination for a lot of people. And, you know, it's near the parks. Anybody looking for a break, I think OAX is going to be a good opportunity for that. Europeans love the mouse, right? So we've got Disney right nearby. So I think that, you know, while the first year might not see that, I do think it will become an international show just because of the proximity to that kind of entertainment and that, you know, and the right time of year to do it. So anyway, I didn't want to talk about OAX. We opened up a package. Nick Patera, thank you so much, man. That I've got to get that into one of the portfolios and in the safe very soon after I show it to Maureen tomorrow morning. All right, so moving right along. So we're talking about Como, and I know everybody has seen a whole lot of stuff on Facebook from people's excursion to Como. More, you know, half of the people showing off a lot of the sketches they got, and they're all freaking amazing, and we all wish we could have gone. And you know, we did try. We looked into doing a live stream. I was going to do it with Aranga, but their Wi-Fi just, if you remember last year when I tried doing it with Tatiana, is just terrible once the show opens, and that's pretty common for every place that has a show. So you know, so we experimented with it. It wasn't going to work. So I asked Aranga to shoot some video, and at the same time, I got an email from Robert Berman. He said that he was there, and did I want to, and he was going to be taking a lot of photos, and could we work out exchanging, you know, getting the photos over to me and the video clips. So I got those from Robert, and I put them together into a presentation for you today. Next week, and I've already seen the videos, they're really awesome from Aranga, but next week we will have Aranga on, as well as, I hope, Tatiana, who was, of course, at Lake Como as well. And we'll have both of them on. We'll talk a bit about Como. We'll show off the video that Aranga shot, and probably play it in a way such that we can actually pause it and talk about certain things, because Aranga did a great job pretty much walking the entire show. So so it's funny because when you look at a lot of the photographs that people posted, you know, the reception night looked good, but, you know, you couldn't tell, you know, is it all artists? Is it, you know, a lot of collectors? You know, you can't really get a good vibe for what how many people attended. But I do think that they had a great turnout, because when you see Aranga's video next week with the walkthrough, I mean, there's people pretty much everywhere, even though they're very spread out. You know, they had to have had at least 400 attendees there, which is fantastic. I mean, that doesn't double where they were at last year, but 400 is a good number. I mean, they have to be feeling pretty happy. I mean, there's a lot of PR that's gone into that show. I mean, we've talked about it a lot here on the channel. So I'm really happy for Steve, because Steve has worked his tail off for that show. He's earned it. He's done this for so many years to put on a show like that. And he's earned the respect from the artists, from the collectors. And I can't tell you how happy I am for him. I haven't, you know, if I ever had a chance to call him, I know he probably I think he stays in Italy for like 2 or 3 weeks after Como, but he deserves a round of applause for the effort that he put into making that show happen. And so what you'll see here are Robert's photos, and they're all great, and you haven't seen them before. So let me go ahead and play this video for you, and we'll talk after it's over. See, Aranga worked his way into that final photograph, didn't he? It was romantic, the whole thing. But where was George Clooney? Anyway, that was, as you can see, a great show. And you could tell sort of from the photographs there that they had a really great turnout. It's a very interesting space. I think, for those of you who didn't see like the show layouts and things like that, we'll probably show a few more things from that next week. But it is a very thing. But it's a different show. It was awesome. Yes, it was. Thanks, Nick. But all the thanks goes to Robert. So Robert, I appreciate you doing that. And as everybody knows, I mean, when you go out to any kind of a show or gallery opening or anything that you think we would all be interested in it, please shoot me an email and we'll work out you getting the material over to me and we'll show it here. I think it's always fun to see that. Robert says doesn't remember whether Gary bought art. I don't know. Peach's table was very civilized, unlike when she was at New York Comic Con, right? So, but that's that is the way that show is structured. It's structured to be a very intimate and easy event for everybody. The artists are pretty energized because they're fed well, and they're surrounded by people who appreciate them for their artistic talents. Not just signing comics and those sorts of things. So it's a definite cool environment that I think we'll have some similar thing going on with OAX, but it's like I said, it'll be different. But yep, thank you, Robert, for that, and I look forward to doing the other. Sorry, Maureen's telling me she's going out. My daughter is going to play Pokemon in, I'm not even sure where, like Washington, D.C. or something this weekend. And she has a 4 a.m. flight tonight. So they are driving to the airport and I think they're actually going to sleep in the parking garage for a few hours and then let Gwen go in and, catch her flight that way. But she's going away for the weekend, and Maureen's coming back because Maureen was going to go with her, and I told her, you can't leave me on Comic Card Live weekend. What if something goes wrong? What if the hall doesn't open at 11 for premium members? I'm dead. And she's like, it works every time. It's foolproof. I'm like, that it's going to not be foolproof the one time you're not here to be with me. So she's staying. Anyway, yes, Pokemon is still a thing for our family. And as many of you know, I was talking about going to Tokyo because that is where the international championships are going to be held in August. But I have decided I'm not going to go to Tokyo. There's too many things going on. And, my whole family is going to Tokyo as part of that, because everybody else, Maureen still plays and all three of my kids play. And I didn't want to go to Tokyo and then be left behind. I'd be there all by myself, or hanging out with them. So my one daughter, Gwen, who we all know, has agreed to go back with me. So we're going to probably plan a father-daughter trip to Tokyo sometime after the whole Pokemon thing is over. That's true, Octavio. I agree with you. But yeah, so they've got that. But that's part of the reason why I'm going back to Ohio in around the July 4th is because the national tournament is always held in Columbus. And so, they're all going up to Columbus and I'm going to end up going up to Cleveland to hang out with my mom. Anyway, so again, thanks to Robert for that. And we'll see Aranga and Tatiana with me next week going over all of their stuff. Now, see, I'm kind of a bit behind here because I restarted a couple things earlier. So I don't have any of my Heritage pick windows open. That's bad on my part, but I can get them open fairly quickly. This is where I need to have somebody pop in and do a song and dance for me, but I don't have that, so I have to do it all by myself. Anyway, but I have to tell you, while the video was playing, I was reading my email and checking on some premium payments that came in, and upgrading a few accounts. 2 new, so that's always cool to see. And one person who let their premium membership lapse probably 2 or 3 months ago. But one of the emails that I got, I'm not going to say the name. I won't say who it is, but it's somebody who I've actually never emailed with. But I know that they got wind of OAX, and to me, they're a pretty important creator out there, both artist and writer. And the email I got says, I've been chatting with a couple of folks about the OA Expo event coming up in January. It sounds awesome, and it's the kind of thing I'd always hoped we'd build to. Can you tell me a little bit about how it works in terms of guests, artists, etc.? Thanks. So that's an interesting email because I've not talked to that person ever in my life. So that I guess I'm going to have to shoot them an email tomorrow morning because they were actually on the list. When we set up the list of artists that we were hoping to get, you know, we kind of had like, this is our kind of pie in the sky, we'd really like to get list. And then, you know, we had kind of it would be great if these people were here. And then we kind of had like, you know, our third list of, you know, if we can get them, that's good. But, you know, we wanted to kind of work our way from top to bottom. And yeah, this person was definitely in the top 25. So that's pretty cool. That's very, very cool. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna say who it is yet. I wish it was John Byrne or the Todd Father. Now those would be good. It can't be Frank Miller because Frank Miller has an exclusive agreement with Fan Expo. Although they talked about being, you know, allowing us to have some leeway with the people they have exclusive agreements with, because I think they only have exclusives with 5 creators. But my guess is it probably wouldn't, that they won't, because who are their exclusives are with Silvestri, Casada, Miller. Gosh, and who are the other 2? I don't recall. Greg. I didn't say it was. No, I didn't say that. But anyways, I won't say. I'll keep this one under wraps. I did email Eric Larson about a few things, Jason, but I didn't hear back from him. But I didn't ask him about anything about OAX. I thought about it though. He was definitely on my list of people to make an inquiry about. So here, I'm just going to go hopping into where is that? I want to hop over into my shared screen here. We can talk about my heritage picks this week since we're almost at the 2-hour mark already. So let's see here. Get this one over here. Yeah, that'll work. And like I said, I haven't opened up the windows yet, but we'll do that one at a time as I work my way through it. What about Stan Sakai? Actually, I'm going to try to work out an interview with Stan Sakai. Ken sent me his email address last week, and I just haven't had a chance to reach out to him. But I do want to have him on, and I want to get Sergio back on at some point too. But Mikhail and Aranga, you did such a great job interviewing Sergio. I figure I'll probably wait till later in the summer or early in the fall before I bring him back on. But yeah, he was so much fun to have on the show. So hey, my heritage picks from the auction that just started this morning, basically, right? So it'll be ending during Dueling Dealers as they always do. First pick of the night was this Wally Wood Cannon Sunday strip. Always good. I've always wanted one. And you know, you get a Wally babe up there. And then, of course, you know, down here, a little bit more risque. Sorry. Yep. It's not PG. It's not even PG-13. Well, it's PG-13, right? I don't know. In Europe, it would be PG-13. But a great Wally Wood Cannon strip. I mean, look at, he got kicked in the Cayones right there. But anyways, I've always wanted to get one of these. They're huge. They're not, you know, they're oversized. They definitely are. Hubba hubba, says Flag Viper Adorn. So yes, let's keep those likes coming, says Nick Barucci. We got 96 people watching, and we're only at 80 likes. We can do better than that. So that's my first pick, a Canon Wally Wood. Now this next one, Chuck Arnold. I'm sorry, I had to pick this, and it's not the Frank Whiteley piece, my friend. It's the one that's better than the Frank Whiteley piece. That Howard Chaykin, you know, American flag piece. And this thing is just, you kind of have to, with any Chaykin artwork, you always have to look at the layout to start off with. But this thing is unbelievable. I mean, I'm going to bid on this piece. I'm probably not going to get it because I'm sure it's going to do really well. But love the storytelling in here. This is like classic Chaykin. You know, I love the silhouettes in the first panel. I mean, not her skirt and the chair. I like them both. And, you know, just the way the panels are throughout here going into her face, then with the phone and her walking out the door. I mean, this is just classic Chaykin storytelling, and I love this page. So thank you, Brett. Not PG-13, more like 38D. Yes, that is very true. Anyway, so yes, I love Chaykin stuff, and I love American flag, and so I'll be a player on that one. And I think some of my friends will be too. Then I've got this Thor 500 cover by Diodato Jr. Come on, click on it. There we go. So, you know, I mean, as a wraparound cover, that's pretty cool. What year is it? It's from 96. So it looks like it was made in 1996, doesn't it? I'm not sure who would have inked that. Is that all Deodato Jr.? Not sure. But anyways, it's Thor from the 90s and a wraparound number 500 cover. What more can you ask for, right? I love that. Let's see here. Next up, what do I got? Oh, that's right. I don't know why I like this one. I picked it anyway because I like Alex Maleev. So I just like the details in this piece between it was from Ultimate Origins 3, but you got Magneto, you got Professor X. Professor X has his funny X-Men tie-on. I've got one of those, but I don't know. I love the ink work on this set. I love the detail in here. I mean, when you go in and look at it, there's it's just nicely done, and it's for a simple cover. At the end of the day, as an X-Men fan, I like this imagery a lot. I don't know anything about the story though, but sometimes that doesn't matter. See, and Jason says he likes this one too. It is nice, isn't it, Jason? There's just something about it. It's cool. You get the two great adversaries and sometimes partners on the same cover. Oh, this was a Seth Fisher Green Lantern splash. Again, we don't see enough of Seth's stuff out there. It's because everybody who has anything by him keeps it. But this is just so insanely detailed. Like, you get in a lot of Seth's work. Just look at that. I mean, he's channeling a lot of different creators, but it's uniquely Seth, right? You don't look at this and say, oh, it looks like Mobius. No, I mean, it's Seth's work when you see it. I just think it's fantastic. I mean, I just love the detail in the architecture. I mean, I could look at that all day. Let alone, the heavy set guy, not so much. But everything else in this thing, it's gorgeous. And didn't somebody mention something about elephants can paint? And now we've got an elephant here too. So with pierced ears too. Look at that. Man, that's weird. Anyway, nice Seth Fisher piece. And I bet you don't see more than lose my voice tonight. I bet you don't see more than one of those in Heritage for the next in a Heritage Weekly. We won't see another one until the end of the year because it's just rare. People who have those pages by Seth just don't sell them. Then I did pick this Deodato Jr. piece as well. It's a Wolverine piece, but I really liked it. And this is from that Wolverine Annual 2. So I just like, I like the landscape. I mean, they're tiny images of Wolverine at the end of the day, but I love just all the drawing that went into this city that looks like it's in the Southwest, right? It's just cool. It's really nicely done. Where is that? Just like you guys. Time for Brett to go to dinner. I understand. You and Glenn alike. So I like this one too. Another one from Deodato. I didn't see a lot of artwork that blew me away this week, but I did like this piece. Then I've got a Bo Hampton Penthouse Comics page. Don't get your hopes up, everybody. There's no nudity in this one at all. But it's a crazy looking alien. This is from 1997. So you got some Zipatone in it and this like snake-headed alien. I don't know what's going on there with that. I hate to say it, I never read Penthouse Comics, so I don't know what's going on in it at all. But I think, I love Bo's style. I always have. And I mean, this last panel is just slick with the space babe, and it looks like the alien just bit the dust when he got something stuffed in his mouth. I don't know. Anyway, nice page. And how often do you see anything come up from Penthouse Comics? I don't know. It is what it is. But I'll have Bo Hampton on. You saw that in August. I forget what date, but I will have Bo Hampton on. He's doing I think he's doing a art book, and so we'll be selling art from his art book and talking about it in August. So that'll be fun. I've always liked this stuff. Then, oh, that's right. This one, it's an Epton Geist Captain America page, and nothing special about it. Just a reminder how great those two are working together. Again, I love the inset panel here. Just nice detail. Everything about I just love as a team. Epting and Geist they're magic. I mean, they do so well together. I just love it. I love it. And we've seen a lot of this work, right? I mean, Anthony's had several pages by them. There's a lot of this artwork on CAF too. But this should probably be an affordable page, right? It looks like one of the Black Widows is on there. I can't tell. But nice page for that. And I'm almost done here. What do I got left? Oh, I picked the George Pratt because I've got George Pratt on in a few weeks. So, and again, how often do you see George Pratt artwork on the market? Almost never, right? I mean, he's most famous for Natsuki, the Wolverine book, but this is just a illustration of a woman, and I think it was early 80s. No, yeah, 82. So just something nice. I mean, if you want to get an example of Pratt's work, I mean, his new stuff is pretty expensive. Anything that you're going to get, because he doesn't sell a lot anymore, and he does a few gallery shows, but he will be at OAX. I have to tell you that, and I can't tell you what he'll be bringing to sell. But George Pratt, he teaches at Ringling, which is a few hours from here, and he's good friends with Kazra. And so he's agreed to go to the show. So I'm excited. I got to meet him at the Frazetta Museum a couple months back, and really nice guy. I'm looking forward to doing the interview with him next month. And yeah, cat's out of the bag. George Pratt is also going to be at OAX. What else we got here? Last piece. Okay, this was Matthias Vergara. Now there's at least 2 other pages from this book by them. It's from Constantine Hellblazer, and they're all done like this. If you pull back just to look at the layout on the page, just slick. And the other 2 pages that I came across while I was going through this, similar in layout, with like two or three quick panels like you get here, and then kind of a breakout panel as the 4th image, and it was just slick. So I'm never read Constantine. I hate to say it, never read Constantine at all, or anything Hellblazer, but the artwork that he's doing here is just phenomenal. And clearly, as part of this storyline, there was some kind of a similar motif page to page the way they were done. So you could just go over to Heritage and search for Constantine Hellblazer, and I think you'll probably be able to see all the pages that are there. But this one's just slick. I love this panel right here. Just with them floating through whatever all that tentacly graphic stuff is. But anyway, loved it. And I don't think we pick enough of Matthias's work. So there you have it. Those are my 10 picks from Heritage. Now, as you know, I've already mentioned that the EXP is tomorrow at 7 o'clock. And as I've already said, too, it's a special night because he's going to be having several Comic Art Live exhibitors showing off some of their artwork. And, he actually got announced as a guest at New York City. That's cool. Yeah, New York always has a great artist lineup, don't they? Let's see. Bootlegging says, funny story. I'm waiting on a commission from Vergara, and it will feature Cyclops. It gets a pass, though, as Storm kicks his butt. That is so unfair. So unfair. Well, I'll have to get one from him with the exact opposite going on, just to one-up you, Bootlegging. And look at that. Bootlegging said he got a random piece from George Pratt from Heritage that was pretty inexpensive. That's awesome. All right, so back to the EXP. I'm going to go ahead and show that preview for you right now. Remember, it's tomorrow at 7 o'clock. You can watch it on YouTube. You can watch it on Facebook. You can watch it on Twitch. And but it's always best to watch it on YouTube. That's where all the cool collectors are hanging out as usual. And tomorrow is just going to be a lot of fun because, several people that I know and will be on with Nick Barucci showing off what they're bringing to Comic Art Live this weekend. So you don't want to miss that. And I appreciate Nick for putting that on. And I did remember one other thing I have to do before I can jump to the CAF update. So I'm going to show this clip for you, and then we'll get to that. So here you go. Here's Nick's preview.
Everybody, this Friday, I was about to say February 19th, but it's May 19th. Wishful thinking. I wish I was younger. I just turned 54 on Sunday. Anyway, 7 p.m. Eastern on Friday, May 19th, the original art experience. We're going to do something a little bit different this week. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody who was gracious enough to watch our show last week with Spider-Man number 7, the first Spider-Boy. And I want to thank not only everyone who claimed art, but also everybody who just tuned in to watch. So, meant a lot to me. So, this week, we're going to celebrate my 54th birthday. So, there will be a few pieces at $54. You'll have to tune in to see which ones. Plus, we'll have some specially priced Ken Hazer pieces because we want to generate more money for Ken. But most importantly, we're doing a community profile, so to speak. It's Comic Art Live this weekend, And what we're going to do is there are a few collectors that I am in contact with, like James Siegel and Jason D'Ambrosio and Anchor and Mike Lovitz and so many others, Jordan. And we're going to actually do a sneak peek on Friday showing the art that they're going to have on Comic Art Live, because I want everybody to go to Comic Art Fans Saturday and Sunday and claim some art from your fellow collectors, So this Friday, we're going to have some first looks of some great artwork from some great collectors, and we can support each other. And this video is running long, and Amy's giving me that luck. So just to show real quick, we're going to have some new items like this Greg Hildebrandt cover prelim. We're going to have some specially priced art from Ken Hazer just to help put more money in his pocket. Yes, Spider-Man number 7, page 18, did sell on Sunday for $42,500. The compromise price I threw in, it sold for that. So somebody caught the show, thought about it. Then we'll have some commission cover art. Then we're going to have this great Batman versus Darth Vader sketch that Greg Hildebrandt did. Some more Ken Hazer, David Finch, and some Ron Garney again. And just because not enough of you tuned in to the Dexter Vine show, I'm going to show off some of the Dexter Vines art that I got from Bill when he did the special show with Dexter. There was like a good 50 or 60, maybe even 80 community members at any given time watching. But let's just show off some great art. And I'm going to show off my Dennis Cowan art that I got in from that event. That was so cool. And I also got a little bit of Jay Lee art that I'm going to show. So I got some King Kong. Ooh, can't show that page. We haven't announced that project yet. Yikes! I could get in trouble. So, got some... Whoa, haven't announced that one either. Well, this Friday, May 19th, 7 p.m. Eastern. Check out the original art experience. We're going to talk about comic art fans with Comic Art Live. Again, spotlighting some great collectors. It's going to be fun. Now, hit that thumbs up, and you'll see me Friday at 7.
Yes, you will. So here, I'm going to hide that screen. So, you can see it's going to be a fun show tomorrow night. Now, the thing that I forgot to talk about, and it's not a lot to talk about, but Larry hosted a get-together last weekend at his place, and so he took some photos of that, and he sent them my way, and I think I teased that in the mailing, but I forgot that I had these 11 photos queued up that we can see. So let's see who attended this meetup. And, I know I've seen these faces before because I know several of them have been to other meetups that Larry's hosted. I see Jeff Dunn with his hands in his pockets right there. He is eyeballing some artwork that I can't make out who it's by, but it looks like a couple's DPSs or commissions or something there. And let's see, what else has he got? I want to know who the decorator is here because I could use some tips. I love the 50s style furniture that he's got. Very, very nice. Someone expresses anger through dance. All right. But who else we got in here? More art, more milling about. And again, man, I need some tips here because I like the way this place is laid out. Look at that chair, man. That is one heck of a cool chair. Lots of art. See, when I mentioned that in the newsletter too, but get together, if you find a way to figure out whom your local fan, comic art fans are, and get everybody together as, once a year, just do a get together like this. These are fun. I mean, look, there's people way in the background at this place. They're all just hanging out, loving the hobby and looking at art. And that's awesome. That's what it's all about. Look at that, man. So it looks like Larry did his own Lake Como right in his own home here. That rug pulls it all together. Yes. Where are the FedEx boxes, says Mikhail. I don't know. I do not know. Oh, it's not Larry's house. Okay, I didn't know. Well, Larry said he hosted it. Maybe he hosted it someplace else. I mean, maybe it was just the way he worded what he the way he was telling me about it. But here we finally have a picture with Larry in it, and he's wearing an Aquaman shirt. Everybody, now I'm sure that was for effect. I'm sure that is why Larry is smiling ear to ear in this photograph, because he knows he just pulled a fast one on us, and he is wearing an Aquaman shirt. He was the talk of the meetup, I'm sure. And you got a half-eaten glazed donut right there that looks like a Pac-Man. I mean, wow. Larry is taking a chance by doing that. What else we got here? Somebody's got their portfolio using it as a doormat over there. I'm hoping it just slipped over there, and they're not going to leave it right at that position. That is not where we suggest you put your portfolio when doing a get-together of this sort. And let's see, I think I got one more here. There we go. Larry's showing off the guns and the Aquaman shirt one more time. And look at that. He's sandwiched between Captain America and Batman. I mean, he should be feeling inadequate, and yet he looks like he's got all the confidence of the world there with that Aquaman t-shirt on. It takes a brave man to go to an art meetup and wear an Aquaman t-shirt. So kudos to you, Larry, wherever you are. You out there? This Larry Como. Aqua Larry. Oh boy. Oh man, you guys. See, where is Larry? Why isn't Larry here tonight? He should be here with us to enjoy this. I'm sure he'll find out. He'll be able to tune into this little segment. But thank you, Larry, for sending those along. And again, that's what I'm saying. You guys do a get together. You guys go out to any kind of OA event of any kind. Let me know. Send me the pictures. And Larry's watching the Lakers. That's right. There's playoff basketball tonight or something, isn't there? All right. Well, I get it. All right. Well, we'll keep this thing moving right along, and we can jump into my calf update now that I've gotten all of that stuff out of the way. But do you think I'm ready for the calf update? Yes, I can be ready for the calf update. Now, it was funny. I was really, I did ask, to me, it was asking a loaded question to them about the state of the hobby, just because, we've been talking about those dealer sales. And, so this period is from the 8th through the 14th. And, I think last week we had a really down week. It was $178,000 in total sales. This week it's 176. So it's down again. And, and one of the sales was from Glenn for $55,000. If you take that one sale out, that's what, $121,000 in sales, minus that one $55,000 sale. So Panel Page sold the most last week. 4 sales for $64,000 in total. Anthony was next, 82 sales, $46,000. Mike had 6 sales, $24,000, and Albert Moy had 9 sales and $24,000. Now, granted, we had a few dealers that were over at Como, so we might see sales pick up and everything. But yeah, to me, I still see the dealer sales as a trending downward kind of. I don't even know. It's peculiar. But Glenn and Will said they're both having decent sales. And granted, a lot of the sales that I would say that all dealers make. And we can include Anthony and Mike in that as well. Many of them do off-site deals, or the things that never get on in the public eye. And I can only report on the public sales, but I just can't imagine that the private sales have gone up while the public sales have gone down. I mean, even if they stayed the same, you'd still feel like it's a down market. But I don't know. I'm the one who's all about confidence. I'm saying we are going to be fine and everything's going to be hunky dory. But the dealers do definitely see a slight downturn in sales. So what do we got here? Where is the video? Top 6 sales from dealers. Okay, again, 176,000 in sales. First up, Greg Capullo. Somebody mentioned Greg Capullo earlier. This is the $55,000 sale. This is from this is the cover to Batman 10, and sold by Glenn from Panel Page. Then next up, we have a sale from Albert Moy, and this is a really nice Jack Kirby Vince Coletta page from Thor 144, sold for $16,500. Great 4-panel layout right there. Then Mike sold this one for $16,000. I think he tried selling it for 16 on Dueling Dealers, didn't go, but a few weeks later it did sell. You got this is a Wizard cover from issue 215, Art Adams, JSC, Silvestri, and a few others. Then we've got this Mark Bagley Amazing Spider-Man 382 page sold by Glenn for $4,500. You got Spidey and I can't tell, is that Kazar? Weird. Then we've got a Before Watchmen page, and this was by Andy Kubert, sold by Anthony for $4,500. Got Rorschach in there. That's not too bad. And last but not least, a Ron Lim Silver Surfer 88 page issue from issue 88 and page 24. This one sold for $3,500. So yeah, you know, a couple big ticket items, but again, you take out those top three, 55 and 2 at 16. You know, now we're talking almost $90,000. You take the top three sales out of there, and we are at $86,000 in sales for every other thing. That's low. You know, that is real low. So I don't know what the deal is. Either they're not, all their sales went offline, or I don't know. Anyway, rolling along here. Let's see what we got. We got auction results next. So this was actually very consistent. The sales list last week were 364,000, and the week before that 358,000. So that's what we'd expect, right? And this time around, but there's a reason for that. Actually, I forgot about that. There was a specialty auction from Heritage for Garfield art, and that small auction sold $72,000 worth of art. And that was kind of what tipped the scales. Otherwise, we would have been just under 300,000. So that would have been a down week for auction houses too. eBay sold 150,000 of from how many lots? 797. Heritage sold $141,000 from 258 lots. So, you know, I mean, a very mediocre week for auction houses if it wasn't for the Garfield auction by Heritage as well. So let's take a look at the top three eBay sales and then the top three sales from Heritage. And first up, what do we got here? We've got this from eBay, the Jamie Hewitt Tank Girl issue 3 pinup. That's kind of interesting. You'll see something like that on eBay or hell anywhere, right? Sold for $8,522 in fairly active bidding on that one. Then we've got this John Byrne, Steve Ditko Avengers Annual 13 page, and it went for $4,609. And again, yeah, is this probably the only time Byrne would have inked Ditko? Probably. And then we've got a Champions page by John Byrne as well. This is from issue 14, page 26. Went for $3,150.13. Iceman at his best. Then over to here, what do we got? Heritage. We got Mike Grell, Warlord 4 page. This one went for $5,280. Very nice example of Grell Warlord there. Then, I mean, a Peter Rabbit Sunday. I didn't pick this one last week. Harrison Cady did this one. It's from 1922, and it sold for $4,320. That's really cute. And I was going to pick this one, and I didn't. I kind of regret it now that I saw it. This Richard Sala Zozo Lala 138 cover sold for $3,840. Of course, Sala left us too early a few years ago, and you know his work is really hard to come by. And I should have picked it. I honestly should have, and I didn't. So nice sale there. $3,840 for that one. All right, now you know what time it is. Yes, an early Hewitt on that Tank Girl. I agree, Rich. I mean, how often do you see pieces that early from Tank Girl at all? I mean, and because those pages just never come up. So I thought that was pretty cool. I was a little shocked when I was sitting down to put the to pull the images and stuff for that to see it. And there were actually a lot of photographs on that auction lot as well. So definitely for those of you who want to check it out just to see, they did several detail shots on that piece. All right, now it is time. Look at that. Who needs a introduction when you've got the police, the fire department, everybody knows what time it is. It is the man of the hour. He is here in the green room and ready to rock and roll, Mr. Chris Snorak. Hey Chris, how are you, man?
I am doing well. Yourself?
I am doing very well.
All right.
Yeah, I'm ready for the weekend to be here, to get it over with, and to kind of move on to whatever's next. You know, it's that kind of way, but
it's that time. I have a feeling, I don't know, I had a premonition that I was going to make a stupid purchase this weekend. So
I almost thought,
crossed.
I knew I had a feeling that thing page last night wasn't quite up your alley, but it was a nice page though.
And it was, you don't see a lot of Thing by Buscema. So yeah, I mean,
Right.
it did. Yeah, I was close. I just, I don't know, for whatever reason, when he wears regular clothes, like even the old like trench coat and fedora get up, I'm just like, I'm not into that.
That's not your thing.
He's not like, superheroing.
No, he's not. And that was the thing too when I saw it. But I thought the one close up of him was cool.
That was great. On the left side there, that was great.
Yeah, because you look at that and you're like, that's John Buscema drawing the thing, So, but yeah, oddly enough, I'm actually thinking about being a buyer this weekend too, because I never really get to shop, but and I haven't had any time to look at the artwork yet. Which, usually, I'm doing testing, so I'm poking around and stuff, and I have not done that yet. I'm going to try to do a little. Because I'm the owner of the show. I do walk the halls every now and again, but I haven't yet. I haven't done any searches. I bet you if I could tell you how many Frank Quiteleys are out there. Well, how about let's do this? If we had to do a search in Comic Art Live right now, what would be a search that would tell us, a little bit about the artwork that might be there? What do you think we should search on?
Jim Lee.
Jim Lee. Okay, let's see here. Let me pull up the search, and I'll tell you how many Jim Lees are in here. Oh, yeah, the price range will be the thing with that.
Yeah, you got to blow that out.
All right, we got 20 Jim Lees in there right now.
Oh.
20 Jim Lees. We got an all-star Batman splash. We got a Dark Child cover. We've got a commission. We've got some Venom card art, it looks like.
Interesting.
We got some X-Men card art.
Ooh.
Got an offbeat movie cover. I won't say what it is. Then, there's the Savage Dragon art, Alpha Flight art, Wildcats, some more pinups, some more card art. Yeah, 20 pieces of Jim Lee artwork in there already. And
That's
from
awesome.
almost all of them are different sellers too. That's kind of interesting. So I'm scrolling through it. Yeah. So that's good. I should type in, Frank Quiteley. Chuck's not here, right?
He was earlier.
Oh, there are 3 pieces of Frank Quiteley art. Chuck, if you're there.
Only 3.
Yeah, X-Men card art, Jason. That's what it says. Octavia wants to know how many how many Cook pieces might be in there.
That's going to be a low number.
3 pieces of Darwin are in the show right now. Ooh, that one looks nice too. It really does. And it's affordable. See, that's the bad. Yeah, I can't. Yeah.
I feel like that market's like stabilized a little bit.
Yeah.
Darwin Cook, which has been a good thing.
Well, there is a Parker page in there. I'll tell you that. Yeah, those don't hit the. Okay, somebody wants to know about Art Adams. Let's see if I can find that one. I'll search on Arthur Adams first, because you never know how somebody's going to put the name in there.
Arthur Adams is the most brutal comic artist to search for, because if you do Art Adams, you're going to get Neil Adams art is what you're going to get.
I know we really need to make the search where it can just search on the artist name fields if people want, versus, because the first generic, the first search includes artist name, title, and art types. And then there's one where it includes the description. But if you really want to get fine, it should just search the artist fields when you're that specific. But yeah, so I've got 13 matches on Arthur Adams. I've got a Ultimate X-Men piece, a long shot piece, something cool pinup looking, a couple cool pinup looking things, a Hulk something. Wait a minute, there's a Thor in here. Ooh, that looks nice. Sorry. See, all right, so this is why it's not fun, because you guys can't see it. You just get to hear me talking about it. But yeah, so plenty of Art Adams in here at price ranges between $850 and $12,000. So a little bit of something for everybody.
Yeah.
Bolland, Matt. Okay, Matt, last one. Bolland. I'll do a Bolland. You never know. I know that
that's Matt Moore probably burying the lead.
Right. We've got let's see. We have two Bolland pieces in there, a prelim and a published piece. So there you go. And that should make Matt happy. Maybe there'll be another one before the show opens up.
I feel like he doesn't need more. I mean, I know he wants more, but
can you ever have too many Brian Bolland prelims?
No.
Probably not. I don't even have one.
Right. I was just gonna say, can you have one?
Okay, J. Scott Campbell. I'll do one more. Just one more. Any J. Scott Campbell. Let's see. Let's see. We've got well, there's one in there from you, Dave. I see that. Yes, there is one. See, I only typed in Campbell, figuring it would be easy. But no, there's only one other J. Scott Campbell other than the one that Dave has available.
I thought that'd be a bigger number.
I would have too. But hey, we still got another.
What an idea.
What's that?
Octavio says search thing.
Ah, well, let's see. Yeah.
And now you can feel my pain when all the Swamp Thing art comes up.
Right. Oh, but well, the first one is a thing artwork. Second one's thing. Third one's thing. Fourth one is the thing. Fifth, well, see, no Swamp Things yet. Oh, then the sixth one is a Swamp Thing. So is the seventh, eighth. Yeah, no, there's some thing art in here.
All right.
Oh yeah, there's one where he's getting beaten up by the Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Revisionist history.
Yeah.
Fake news.
It's by Paulo Siqueira. Looks nice. So what else we got in there? That's a Man Thing. There's some Man Thing art.
Yep.
I'm sorry, man. There's no good way to work that out. But
well,
but
the
yeah,
other thing is when I do requests for commissions, a lot of times I'll have to specify, because I say the thing, and then I'll in parentheses I'll put like Fantastic Four, because I don't want like a John Carpenter's The Thing.
Oh yeah.
Confusion. Yeah.
That makes sense. Somebody asked about Finch too. What do we got? Finch covers. There's one cover. Looks like two covers. So two Finch covers and 10 total pieces by Finch.
That's quite a few.
Yeah. I like the cheapest one in there too. $325. Commission piece and an X-Men character.
Bargain Finch.
Definitely.
You should take that one off the board, Bill.
I don't want to exercise my power too much, but I could put a like on it right now so that I could get to it quick, in the morning. Let's see. Yeah, I've never gotten the minus stuff to work properly in our searches, Scott. I hate to say it. I know a lot of people wish I could figure out that, but it's just not something that works. Yeah. We'd have to talk to Maureen about it, and she would just say, not going to happen. So
she'd say, not for Beardo. Forget it.
I know. Well, we do, but and it's weird, with market data, we allow you to put negative keywords in. Because we have two fields. And I don't even remember why we did that. I think I told her, I'm like, similar, like you type in thing and I'm getting Man Thing, Swamp Thing, all this stuff, and I'm not getting what I want. And for whatever dumb reason, we never put that into the overall site search when you get there. We should. I mean, but we do that over there all the time. We let people do that. All right. I should write that down, shouldn't I?
Well, for me, it's keywords, because like I wake up in the morning and
it's that,
do my whatevers, and then okay, what did Calf send me this morning? And it's like Swamp Thing art.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10.
No, well,
I'm not complaining.
Well, hey, anything can happen. Anything can happen. After 20 years of doing this, we should be able to implement a better negative keyword thing. I can't tell you, the number one requested thing to do is to block certain sellers from your search results. And we don't do that yet either, but that's something everybody's, I get asked about at least once or twice a month. So, and it's usually the same seller, as many of you would probably guess.
I can imagine the seller. Yeah.
Yes. It's always the same. I don't want to see any more of their stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Please inquire.
All right. Well, we got 30 minutes before it hits the midnight hour, man. So let's
tear it up.
Let's see now. Hey, so if I do a panel though at Heroes, you're there with me, right?
Sure. Yep.
Awesome. I'm gonna shoot for Friday. I'm gonna email them tomorrow and see if we can't firm up a time.
I'll be hungover on Friday, but
Well, I'll make it towards the end of the day. Whoop, wrong window there. See,
I mean, that's actually fair warning. Like if you see me at Heroes, assume I'm hungover. Just
all right. So, hey, I think it's gonna be awesome. Let's see. One over here. There we go. Sorry, I did open up too many damn windows here. All right, here we go. That to there and now. All right. So, Matteo Scalera, and whose calf gallery was this? Colin L.
So I bet this drove Daryl nuts because, I mean, who wouldn't want this in their Lone Wolf and Cub collection, right?
Right.
This thing was like everywhere during Como. It's it came from Como, but like I saw this on social media, I bet a dozen times just on Saturday alone. So he does this cool thing where he does that underpainting. So like the red tone, for example, and I'm guessing the black as well, is all underneath the image. And then like the rest of the stuff is just over top of that. And I've actually seen other artists like copying it already. There you can see like people's process videos where they're like, oh, I'm not saying I stole this from Matteo Scalera, but I'm not saying I didn't either. So anyway, it's such a great, like, iconic image of the characters. And I love the white, the sword strike through and that the shrubbery. The underpainting is so cool. I can't say enough good things about Matteo Scalera.
Yeah, no, I love this one too. I saw it, the day it got posted. I mean, if you're going to emulate somebody, I mean, I think he's a great person to kind of borrow some ideas from and experiment with. I mean, we've seen people borrow from Daniel Warren Johnson a lot. I mean, if you're going to borrow, you might as well borrow from the guys who are kind of at the peak of their skill set at this time, and he certainly is. So, yeah, I mean, I love this piece, and I love it because it's painterly and it's graphic because of the leaves. I mean, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
It does such a the underpainting in the background does such a great job of separating the layers of the image.
Oh yeah, heck yeah. Nick Ferrucci says we only got 87 likes. Can we get a few more? We can do that.
Come on now.
Come on, get us to 90 at least. All right. Now I don't think I've ever seen this artist's name before. Andrea F's Calf Gallery. It's Carlo Giacono.
I had never seen it either, but this, like, as you can imagine with the yellow, this like thumbnail really jumped out at me. I don't know enough about, like, I guess this genre to really comment on the subject matter by any means, but I loved what was going on in this piece graphically, because like just the effect used on the character's arm on the left is worth the price of admission, in my opinion. Like you can see, like, this is a little bit Sienkiewicz-y. It's got a little bit of like Bob Peak to it too. I mean, like there's just a lot on here to like. And I don't know, there were just like a couple of different elements where like the red on the jacket, the perspective on the central figure, the way he drops out the arm on the left, and like the female characters featured there too. Like it's a lot of kind of, I don't know, odd choices in a way, but they're really cool together.
Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, I like looking at the image of the cover because I'm sure they have to be thinking about how they're going to print it, because that, having that really strong, striking, half oval here, it just doesn't, on the image itself, it looks a little weird, right? Because it's just kind of floating out there, and then you see how it looks printed. But I kind of like it. I mean, the idea that he did a blue underpainting of some kind, and then just started adding color around that. It's an interesting way of showing darks when it's all the darks are in blue. I mean, it's just it's odd, but I like the use of the orange here. I mean, it is kind of an interesting approach, and you do see a lot of different styles in here, but it's cool. It is really cool. I'm gonna go back.
It's asymmetrical too, but I feel like what he did with the not only the color, but again, the kind of the technique is like it balances the image overall.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's cool. I've never heard of this artist before. So
Marcus says that the circular element is on like almost every cover.
Oh,
so it must have been kind of like thematic for the the series.
Okay, well, I'm gonna and So this guy has other artwork from this. Okay, yeah,
Something.
look at, yeah, okay, he's mentioning it here. All right, cool. I'll check them out after we're done. Now, Jimmy Palmiotti was on fire this
I
week.
could have done all 10 from his easily.
Yes. But what do you got here? We got a Sergeant Rock, and it's Joe Kubert all over it. It only has 5 comments. Come on, it should have a lot more than that. But damn, look at that.
Yeah, this is just like emblematic Sergeant Rock cover. You've got the little, the little disabled, the little disabled kid. Rock's hiding from a Nazi tank. I mean, come on, like there's nothing not to love here. I love the like super bold hatching on the underside of the tank.
Yeah.
Like, he was like getting loose there, and then everything else is like, it's just all totally perfect Joe Kubert.
Agreed. Those bricks don't stand a chance. But well, I picked one as well. I hate to say it, a Joe Kubert war cover, but I couldn't help myself. But no, I love this one too. This is it's a striking cover, and it's funny, that somebody had mentioned it. Maybe we've mentioned it before. Just all these war covers, they always had this feeling of doom, right? You're looking out of a tent, or you're going into an alleyway. I mean, there always was this sense of foreboding. They just did such a good job of like making like the horror of war in different ways, but it was always about a surprise, right? It was or something that you just weren't expecting, and yeah, I mean, this stuff is just great. I mean, it's hard to. I was never a person to read war comics, but I just think that a lot of thought went into it, and a lot of these guys had experience, right? I mean, with the war in different ways, and so at any rate, this is a beauty, Mr. Palmiotti, and yep, instant classic. Well, he liked Kubert, I know a lot. I think when we did our interview, he talked about Kubert numerous times. So moving right along to Kavi's calf gallery, we've got a Gerald Perel painted piece here. Yeah, I can click on that one. Yeah, there we go.
I think Gerald Perel, like his use of color is really special, and I love how painterly he gets, and like it's very comic booky, right? But it doesn't like dive into EM Gist or like any of that territory where it gets very tight and very almost photographic. This is still really graphic, and it's still like very comic booky, while at the same time like having that like painterly sensibility, and it also is graphic enough that it like reads perfectly.
Yeah, I like Perel's work a lot as well. Let's see. Let me go back over to here. Oh, he has a version of the cover too. Cool. Yeah, no, I mean, a good composition is very in your face. I mean, that's that's a daring kind of pose to pull off, where you're just showing a portion of their figure like that, but you get the gun full on, all that. I mean, it's very nice. And
I like
I agree
blue too. I think the blue is such an interesting choice, because I feel like so many times when you see Star Wars characters, it's a red, orange, like there's something crazy going on with the sky where it looks all like stark and bleak and sci-fi-ish. So the kind of more earthly blue sky I thought was a cool choice.
I agree. Well, congrats to Kavi on this one. Has he got enough comments on this thing yet? It's working there. Oh, he's got a song from Marcus.
There we go.
Oh my gosh, I'm taking to war with my best friend. I hope the Boba bounty hunts again. He knows where Fett's taking me where in galaxy. I'm taken to war. Oh my God, with my best friend. We're buying you. I don't know how you do this, Marcus. What we need to do next year for the best of is we need to select the 10 best Marcus riffs and have people vote on them.
Marcus commented on the piece I added today, and he actually branched out. He adapted a movie quote instead of a song parody. So he might be like charting new ground.
All right. I'll have to go look out for that one. I didn't see. I saw your name appear on the list, but I did not click over to your calf today.
Yeah, I've added a few smalls lately, but.
All right. Well, this one's a nice one. Congrats to Kavi on that. And yep, how could you not want to talk about the Sam Keith piece? And it's in it's the Tom Fish. Yes, it is the Tom Fish pickup.
It would be criminal not to highlight this for like all the reasons that everybody wants to see it. I mean, you could talk for quite a while about the hair and just the hair in his arms. I mean, the labor of love, like the intensity, the passion that went into illustrating this. It's got all the Sam Keith like curly Q like fraying on the costume, and I mean, like, this is for me anyway. You say what you will about the Max and all that kind of stuff. When someone says Sam Keith, this is the image that pops into my mind. So this is an absolutely iconic piece of art in my opinion.
Yeah. No, and it's ended up in the right collection because that's where most of the iconic artwork goes to die. Tom Fish.
No, goes to live on, Bill.
Okay, goes to live on. Goes to live on. I agree. That's why I got to get Tom on here. I'm going to shoot him an email after Comic Art Live because part of my hope and dream for OAX is to try to assemble like those collectors that many people would love to have the opportunity to meet. Right.
The whales.
Yes, exactly. Yes, the whales, exactly. The group of whales that are out there, just because because we all know them, they all show off their artwork. We know what they've got. It's just a question of can they squeeze something like that into their busy schedule. So I'm going to try. I've already reached out to Dinesh. He said he should be able to make it. So I figure. Who turned me down? Jim Halpern turned me down already. He actually said the man knows his schedule a year in advance. It's like, I got something I'm doing that weekend. He's like, but I am going to be in Orlando the first weekend in January. Bill, do you want to go out for dinner with me? I'm like, well, sure. If you can't come to OAX, then I'll come down and go out to dinner with you in Orlando. So, hey, and Jiggy's in the house. All right, Jiggy. I gave Jiggy 3 extra sketches today that came in after the fact. So his crew is going to be busy. But I agree. This is just you can't get any better than this. I mean. It is the image you think of when you think about Keith, and so, yeah, I mean, it's good to be Tom Fish is all we have to say. All right, what do we got next? Now, Secret Wars page by Zek and Beatty, and this is in Colin McMaster's Calf Gallery.
So a lot of these battle pages, because they were so zoomed out, you had to feature so many characters. We're definitely not like, nobody was doing their best work, artistically speaking, on these pages. But I remember being a kid, I remember this She-Hulk Titania fight, and I'm not sure why. So this is a nostalgia pick for me. I mean, obviously, everybody knows I love Mike Zeck and I love Beatty inks. But that panel right there where Titania is doing like the flying sidekick over top of She-Hulk's head, that to me like is for whatever reason set in stone. Like I just absolutely remember reading this as a kid.
No, it's slick, and you're right. It's funny when you do think of Secret Wars, you always think of all the tiny characters drawn for the battle scenes and everything. You don't get too many of these throughout it. So yeah, that's interesting. But no, it's slick. I love Zek and Beatty as well. I mean, this is a very nice page. I wonder if it's as yellow as it appears here, or if, it could be. I mean, if it was, I guess, but it doesn't matter. Still, a great page, good pick. Look at that last one, Thwam, man.
And She-Hulk drubbing the Wrecking Crew is never bad either. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is true. Let's see here. Yeah, it's a girl fight. This is really rich. Yep. What else we got here? Oh, James Heron, Spaceman Spiff. And whose calf gallery was this? Oh, Pat L. Congrats, Pat.
Yeah, these cool color commissions that he did. I haven't seen one yet that I didn't like absolutely love. He's so talented. To me, he's so talented as a designer. So when I see like these kinds of compositions, that really does it for me. But then on a technical level, I mean, what a draftsman, what a cartoonist, all of the above. Like he's mastered all of these tools, and we should be so thankful that he is doing all this traditionally, because to be totally honest, we all know like the easy way is to have done this digitally, right? Now, granted, nobody's out there asking for digital commissions, that at least that I'm aware of. But to do this way, the way he does it is just, it's an achievement.
No, I agree. I mean, obviously, like the yellow piece, this one stuck out to me too when I was looking at the artwork. Yeah, I love it. I mean, I think I love Heron's work. This is, it's great. I can't add anything more to it. I mean, I got to click off of it because I like to see it in its entirety.
Mm-hmm.
No, very, very, very nice. We did to see what he wrote. We got oh, Marcus got #1 comment like usual. Spiff, Simon says Spiff needs to work on his aim or else this will not end well. Yeah, very true. You're only 3 feet away, Spiff. You shouldn't be missing that one. But congrats to Pat on this one. This is great. And I saw this one. I was like, oh, I like this one. I'm gonna get my like on here. So this is Colin McMaster. So you get 2 pieces from Colin, but this is a great.
Oh, I didn't realize. Okay.
Yeah. Nope. I saw it and I was like, I'm not gonna say anything because I like both picks. But I love it that he's knocking his easel over here.
Yeah, this has, I mean, for me, this would be an absolutely ideal Silvestri X-Men piece. It's got Colossus. Colossus is my favorite X-Man, but it also has like probably my favorite villains, definitely the favorite villains from this era. So it's got Cole, Macon, and Reese on the bottom. I love the Reavers. Deathstrike looks so cool here. It's just like, this is just a great, great page. I absolutely love what he did with the figures, like the way that the figures are like half toned basically on the right. Yeah, just perfect.
Yeah, I like that. Aren't artists supposed to be temperamental? But yeah, no, I love this. I love this piece a lot. I wouldn't mind owning it myself. So congrats to Colin on that one. It was a good week.
It's a great Dan Green page too, man.
Yeah. Yeah, the inks are really, really nice on this one. And in that last panel, really, even this, I like them all. I like the subtlety on this page. On this panel. I mean, it's just nice. Wow. All right, now we're moving over to an Alice Never After cover by Jenny Frism.
I don't think I've ever picked art from her,
I
but
don't think so.
this was striking to me. I like tonal pencil a lot. I mean, there's obviously there's colored pencil happening here as well, but it's just so elegant. It's very, it's very clean. It's very refined. And it's also like a really well constructed piece. Like there's so much that takes interest here. The butterflies, being like one of the subcomponents, but like the character's eyes are just like really, you can fixate on them.
Yeah, I love the detail in the mushrooms and her hair. I mean, it is so well done. I'm looking. I want to find like where's the imperfection in this piece. It is just so beautiful. Did it say what size it was? I'm kind of curious.
I didn't look, but there's so much happening on this.
No, it doesn't. But yeah, either way, I mean, it's stunning. And it's kind of funny the way they did that. I wonder, did he put a printed image in here or no? Just like wondering how do they handle the logo or anything on this piece, because the way it really fills the page as a cover.
Or did they color it? God forbid.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope they didn't. But yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, everything about this thing is amazing. Well, yeah, that might be one of the best pieces on CAF the last week. So congrats to Corey's comic art. Is that what it is? Corey Green. Yeah, that's a good score. All right, and one more here. Thor versus Hulk. What was this from Banner of War Alpha from 2022? So
in all honesty, I picked this because I thought I had 10 pieces, and then right before I sent it to you, I realized I had 9. And I was like, oh, I remember I saw cool like Hulk versus Thor, and then I was like, I should let Bill pick that. And then I was like, no, I don't have time to go back through all 100 pages again and find another piece. So I'll be honest and say part of the reason that I picked this segment was because like I effed up. But I do dearly love it. I mean, Stegman does this stuff so well, like this bombastic stuff, like kind of he and Otley, I think of like are the two like insano, like two characters going at each other artists these days.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of the Nick Klein Thor costume. So it was cool to see him, Thor in that costume in this image.
Well, this one's in Alex Garcia's calf gallery. So congrats to Alex on that. Oh, he actually has it looks like the pencils were on a different board too. That's cool.
Yeah, inked by JP Mayer, I'm guessing.
Oh, look at that. That's slick.
There you have a future Dueling Dealers title or card.
Yeah, that's true. I should be able to use that. Yeah, that's not bad. All right. Well, congrats to Alex on that one. That's a score. All right. Well, 10 good picks. And oddly enough, I picked 9 and had to go back and pick 10.
Really?
I did.
Wow.
I set them up and I'm like, and I'm like, the list doesn't look long enough. And I go like, yeah, shoot, I only got 9.
I did the exact same thing.
I had to go back and do it. All right.
And it was not for lack of great art. I mean, like, well, Jimmy Palmiotti really did dominate this week. So I had to make sure, that I wasn't picking 10 pieces from Jimmy Palmiotti's gallery. But other than that.
Yes. Well, I did pick one from Jimmy's too. It was kind of hard to not, do that, unfortunately.
You really, like, whatever happened, like he was in the chat last week. It was like something shook loose and it was all of a sudden, like,
yeah,
I'm going to put everything on calf.
Well, he and I were talking about doing the Amanda show, so I didn't want to mention it last week, and so I think that kind of got him thinking about it, and he went premium, and so he was like, I can get bigger scans, and then he was, a lot of his stuff is like, maybe for sale if the right offer came around. So I don't know. He was just in the mood, so had some time between working. All right, here let's get mine shown. So, I had to go with this one just because it's, let me see. This is in Lovett's calf gallery, of course, and George Perez Joe Sinnott. Click on that to look at the detail. I mean, it's just awesome. I love this period in Perez's work, and I love Sinnott inks on Perez. So, I don't know. I mean, it's a cover. Look at just tons of detail in this thing. It's just gorgeous. And, it brings me down memory lane just seeing something like it. So, Lovett says probably arguably the best Perez collection, I think, on calf. And yeah. And looking at it's stuff I didn't really think about when I looked at it because I just loved it for what it was. I mean, I love the shadow that's behind the Fantastic Four where he changes the outline and the woodwork. It reverses out. That's stuff like that is just so simple, but they're design choices that George and Joe are making, for lots of different reasons. But that's just cool, and it just adds to the the beauty of the cover. It makes the logo pop more. So there was a lot of thought that went into this cover, and probably most covers in general. We don't even think about it, but again.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things I comment on a lot is like the choices that get made when you put an image together. And I think what separates the great illustrators from the rest are those choices.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, everybody. But I love Sinnott inks on here. I mean, he's just awesome. I mean, but you can still, because of the amount of detail on this piece, it was a Perez piece. So yeah, I love it. So congrats to Mr. Lovitz on this one. Yeah, that's a winner. And then I love Matt Allison stuff. We're gonna see him at Heroes, right? He's gonna be at Heroes. I have reached out to Cam about a few of his artists coming down to OAX too, but we'll probably end up talking at Heroes about that stuff. But love to have Matt Allison come down. He's good friends with Aaron Connolly, and Aaron Connolly's he's in Lakeland, which is about 5 minutes from Orlando. So Aaron said he was going to be there. So if Aaron's going to be there, I'd like to think that we can also get Matt Allison to come in. So his stuff is great, and I know that he was doing some. Cam took a commission list recently, I think, for some stuff, a pre-commit, and then there was a pre-commission list for Heroes where he was even doing some color pieces. I even thought about getting on that one. I didn't. I'm sure it's full because that was earlier in the week or late last week. But anyway, I love his stuff. We've had him on the show a few times, but I mean, look at the detail. His stuff, his inking is just so cool. It's so distinctive when you see it. I mean, there's I don't know. It's reminiscent of a few indie artists I can think of, but as far as in like mainstream comic book kind of feel to his work, I mean, he just kind of stands alone. I love the detail in this stuff. This Man Thing is just fantastic. And why do you love it,
You can never say enough about the inking. Really, truly. I mean, like this is slavish. You know, I mean, like to produce the result and the textures on Man Thing is just hours and hours and hours and like cramped hands and sore wrists and I mean, wow.
Yeah. And Antoine, it was, I was going to say it, but you said it. So Charles Burns,
Mm-hmm.
when I see his work and his inking, I think of Charles Burns a lot.
Yep.
There's definitely some inspiration there, but no, his stuff is, I love it. I only own one piece by him, just a commission, but I'd love, I could buy just about anything, any character, and I'll love it because I love his style. So yeah, this one's nice. And who was it again? Oh, JH, right? Yeah, JH. So congrats to JH on this one.
Anytime I see a new Matt Allison, I get posted. I'm like, did Tyler T buy another Matt Allison?
I know Tyler does have a thing for Matt, but I mean, why not, right? I mean, I love his stuff. So next up, I got this from James Siegel's cap. He had a few other pieces, other good pieces, but I love Chris Pacella's work, and get a little X-Men action in here. Chris is somebody, he always has a long line wherever he goes. I mean, I heard like at Wicked Comic Con, he had a super huge line. I mean, everybody loves his work, and I think whether even the non-art collectors love his stuff. I mean, it's just cool. He makes every character he works on look different and in a unique, really way. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so I saw this piece and I saw the other pieces James had, and I'm like, I like this one the best out of James's lot for the week. I'm going with this one. And Chris is somebody who I'm going to be talking with Quan about, but I'm not sure I'll be able to score him for OAX, but I'm going to try because he'd be a great guest to have.
Him and Koipel.
I asked about Koipel.
Talking to Quan.
I did. I even said, what about Joe Mad?
And Battle Chasers is coming out.
Well, that's what he said. Even Quan said, he's like, well, Battle Chasers is coming out. He goes, but I can't even talk him to go out and he's got Battle Chasers coming out. And I'm like, all right, well, I had to ask. I mean,
he'd be remiss.
Put the inquiry out there, but I did ask for Koipel, Chris, and
Jerome Pena.
That wouldn't be bad. You actually asked for Lionel Yu. I see, if that was a possibility. Sure. But Pena wouldn't be bad too. I'll see what. It never hurts to ask, because the thing is, like I told him, I'm like, he's like, I don't know if anybody's gonna want to go. I'm like, well, listen, first thing you gotta do is just go out and see if they want to come. If they want to come, then we'll figure out whether or not we can get them here. But and he's like, all right, after Como, I'll do it. So whatever, Quan, you're always an old stick in the mud.
He's a curmudgeon.
He is. But yes, this one beats your Spidey versus Wolverine pages. I'm sorry, James. Sorry, but I did have to pick.
I like the marker on this a lot.
I do too. I love the because he has such a heavy line and the way he shades and the way he does his blacks, but it works so well. I mean, he doesn't need to like draw her pupils or something, right? I mean, and that's kind of what we really appreciate about his stuff. I mean, he's not in the cross hatching in her legs. I mean, he's not worried about putting too much detail in there, but he puts in just enough to work it all out. With the way the figure is, and I don't know.
Well, and when you still, when you can do a little and show a lot, I mean, that's refined technique. That's craftsmanship. That's, that's all the things that you associate with a master illustrator, because like the textures on here, Rogue's costume, that reads as, shiny leather or whatever it is is shiny.
Yeah.
And with not a lot of, it's not overwrought.
Very true. Very true. I saw Jason's telling me to cut the middleman out, cut Quan out. Yeah, that's always That remember, all these people are my clients, Jason. That's kind of the hard part. You can't go to an artist that because like as it turned out, Clay Mann lives nearby. I didn't even know that. He's like an hour from Orlando, and he reached out to me, and then I found out he's on, he's rep by Essential Sequential, and so I emailed him. I'm like, yeah, I'd love to have you. Do you think we need to talk with Jason? Because I'm like, I don't want to get in any trouble with anybody,
Sure.
But I thought it was cool that he reached out to me. He's like, yeah, just it's like, hey, I just need a hotel, but I'd love to come down. I'm like, sure, I'd love to have you, but as long as nobody gets mad. What was the other thing? I don't know. I thought I saw another comment, but anyway. So let's see here. Next piece. What do I got? Oh, this was that I had to pick this Joe Kubert Sergeant Rock cover. I mean, you had to have seen this one too, right?
Yep.
But I love the way they did the logo. I mean, I think it's almost silly. The guy saying, "Drop me, or this grenade will blow up in your face." Why doesn't he just drop the grenade? I don't get it. I mean, maybe it's his guys down on the ground.
You have to read it to find out.
If he dropped the grenade down there, he'd be killing off more Sergeant Rock's guys. So it's like, what is the predicament they're in? But I just really, I love this Sergeant Rock drawn in there into the city, right? I mean, it's just so slick.
Well, what I really love about that too is that editors hate that.
Do they?
Editors absolutely hate when you mess with the masthead, when you mess with the title. Like, they don't want anything that like screws with the indicia, like none of that stuff. And so for Kubert to be like, yeah, I hand lettered the title and it's like worked into the background of it, they were probably like, ugh. But it's Joe Kubert.
Yeah, you can't argue with Joe, but yeah, what a super striking image. I mean, he's holding on by his fingertips, and the guy's got a grenade that he just won't let go. So, and he probably was super glued to his hand, Marcus. I mean, some reason, because again, he could just drop that and kill 10 GIs right there.
Uber glued to his hand.
But anyway, yeah, I just love this piece. I couldn't let it go. Even after I saw you had picked one, I was just like, it's too good to not show. Oh man. All right, so here we go. Switching a little bit.
I missed this.
El Rafi. Yeah, this is a Al Williamson, Carlos Garzón piece. Look at this. I mean, this has got Jeff Wedding written all over it.
If he was lucky.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, but look at this thing. I mean, oh my God, the ink, Garzón's inks on Williamson pencils is just crazy. I saw this one and I was surprised you didn't pick it, because just look at that. Oh, man, that is so freaking amazing. Oh gosh, I love the lettering in this too. I mean, this is just a gorgeous page. See, Jeff was wishing this was his. Look at the tongue on Jabba, man. He is happy as a clam. I'm sorry. See, it's getting late. But yeah, I mean, I love it. And again, I'm back on the lettering here. In this first panel, there's no word, there's no balloon around the lettering. It's part of the art. And then then you have the other ones that are in the word boxed out. Then you have this one that's outside of the panel. This is just a really well thought out page from end to end between because what would those have been? I mean, it looks like there was white out there. Maybe there was a box around that one before they didn't use it. But either way, I mean, it's just beautiful. It's absolutely a beautiful piece of art.
Yeah, the unboxed lettering has a very old, like almost pulp feel.
It does. You're absolutely right.
Look at the texture on the curtain next to Boba Fett. Like, why? Why Williamson?
Yeah, no, and I'm just drawn back to the lettering again. Look at the things that he's heavily highlighted here: becomes, outraged, Boba Fett, soars. I mean, it's just fun. I mean, it's great storytelling, great storytelling, and it's telling something that we're all familiar with at the end of the day, and then doing it so well.
That's what I was just thinking. How successfully condensed this sequence is on this one page.
Hit the witching hour. You guys have a great night. That's funny. That is funny. We did hit it, didn't we? Holy smokes. I didn't realize we were that far. Well, speaking of the witching hour, holy mackerel, is that synchronicity or what?
What the
Holy mackerel. Is James Siegel sitting over my shoulder? What the hell?
Does he have Cerebro on right now?
I'm a little concerned. I've got to make sure that the curtains are drawn. I don't know. What's going on with you, Seagull? Holy
Adam
crap.
Kubert's out there.
That's one of the weirdest. That's right. That's one of the weirdest moments we've had in 3 years on this channel. But yeah, Nick Cardy Witching Hour cover, everyone. Boy, I don't even know what to say after that. Of course, this is a Jimmy Palmiotti piece, and I had to pick this thing because look at the inks on this. It is unbelievable. I mean, I love the way the ghost what bride is rendered, but all this, look at the amount of ink and all this scratchy, almost like dry brush ink all over this whole thing is just unbelievable. I mean, it's gorgeous. And I love the fact that the logo is an overlay. I mean, he probably didn't do a non-overlay extra image. No, he didn't.
No.
But I'd like to see that. I mean, that's nice, right? I mean, it's nice to have an overlay like that you can flip over and just look at the art as it was drawn. James is in the future, says Jeff. It was spooky, Mr. Easy-Go-Lucky. And look, James hasn't said a word since that happened. So, I mean, he may have just went right back to the past. I mean,
right back to his spaceship.
Right, he did. The batteries were running low. He had to get out of here.
He was at 87 miles an hour.
I think James had a heart attack after he said that. The witching hour actually got him. Oh man. Anyway, yeah, and I'll be honest, I'm not a big Nick Cardy fan, but I mean, I don't know why, because I mean, his stuff is very, it's fair. It's. I mean, for me, I don't know why. I'm probably because he didn't do a lot of Marvel, but at the end of the day,
no, he didn't. But the stuff that he did in DC is legendary, absolutely legendary.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I can't believe James hasn't popped in at all. I think he did keel over. So, or the ghost got him. He said the witching hour, anyway. So, great piece. Jimmy obviously has he knows inking, so I'm sure he saw this piece and was like,
"Oh yeah,
damn, this is mine."
That's why he's got so much Kevin Nolan.
Very, very true. And Jason says his horror stuff is better than his hero stuff related to Cardi. Yeah. Well, that's what he's saying. Jason's a Marvel guy too. What does he know?
I got about a dozen Teen Titans covers that would beg to disagree.
All right, there you go. Nick Cardy was good on Titan stuff. I'll give you that. But again, I just love this piece. I mean, you got the flowing staircase and the way the inks, are kind of just
mirroring the.
Yeah, I mean, I really wish he would have done one of these with the logo flipped up on it so we could see it. But
it's a really cool, deliberately messed up perspective on the stairs too. The stairs are almost like spirit, looking like ghost.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Cardi Aquaman. Yeah.
He's such an awesome draftsman, you guys. My God.
All right. You got us. All right. Well, I really hope James is okay. Somebody should, maybe ping him or something to see if he's all right, because I'm getting worried about him. But
if he is in the afterlife, I'm sending Jason to meet him.
Oh man, necrophilia. Yeah, to a certain extent, Antoine. All right, so
I think that's a first too.
It is, and here's another first. Gay and Wilson. Have we ever had anything by Wilson on the show before? I think not, because in general, most of the Wilson art is too subjective and too crude, crass, you name it, stuff we can't feature. And I saw this piece and I was like, first I'm like, oh, there's got to be a dirty joke or something in here that will make it so I can't use this, right? I honest to God, I saw the thumbnail and I'm like, I'm not even going to look at it. I'm like, I'm not going to look at it because every time I look at one of these, I can't show it. And so, it's like two men on a deserted island or something kind of thing, right? You know what I'm talking about. And so I'm like, I came back to it again and I'm like, all right, I got to see what this thing is. So it says, here comes that Wilson boy as usual. I didn't read the title before I got on it. I'm like, well, that's interesting. I mean, does he mean himself? And so I went down and I read the description. So this is in Bruce W.'s Calf Gallery. And he says, more Grail stuff here in this amazing autobiographical cartoon by Wilson for Esquire. This one was mentioned in the biopic Born Dead and later in his new New York Times obituary, where it said, one cartoon done years later speaks to his upbringing. A child is emerging from an alley surrounded by bizarre creatures, two adults on the sidewalk concealing the child. Here comes that Wilson boy, all alone as usual, one says. And he wasn't alone, Mr. Wilson says in the documentary, which was the joys of imagination. And I was like, that's awesome. For his crass and kooky as this guy was, I mean, there always was something neat about the way he drew, right? And I mean, this might be the only piece we can probably ever feature by him on the show, and I love it. I think the story's great. I think the idea that you know, he had a twisted mind at the end of the day, and he's kind of playing,
sweet, though, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. James needs to dye his hair to meet Bill's hosting requirements. I don't know where that comes from. Anyway, but anyway, I love this piece, so that's why I mean, I had to go with it. And I think it might be might be the only time we get to show anything by Wilson on here. But totally slick. Look at I mean, he was a draftsman. I mean, he was his art was so distinctive and really well thought out. I mean, he's like the Robert Crumb of dirty art, you know, that appeared in Penthouses.
Isn't Robert Crumb also the Robert Crumb of dirty art?
Yes, but his stuff wouldn't be in Penthouse. Robert Crumb made his own books.
Okay, fair.
Dan was in all the nudie mags that he could get himself into. But I mean, again, you look, you know, but you're right. But stylistically, he was a master of his design. I mean, great stuff here. So what do we got here? 3 more pieces to look at. This is just an early Mike Mignola Hellboy piece. I like these when they turn up. This is I think it was Justin Porter. Yeah, Justin Porter's Cap Gallery. He has an affinity for early Hellboy, and just seeing these, you know, I wish I had one. You know, I love the style. You know, because it's so less refined. You know, he's drawing it. You know, look at how skinny that left arm is. That's holding the head. I mean, you know, he's just figuring out Hellboy, you know, really at this point, and I just love it. I mean, the style is, to me, it still feels like he's like ticking away at it, trying to figure out how he wants Hellboy to really look, and I just love this. I love this piece, and I think he posted a color cover by
a vintage cover from, I think it was Wake the Devil.
It was from Wake the Devil, and I thought about picking that one, and I don't know. I decided to go for the black and white. So, but yeah,
I thought about it too. I didn't want to take any Mignola heat though this week. Take a couple weeks off.
Yes, exactly. Rich Danny says back when Mignola would occasionally draw the feet. Yeah, but it is a good. Hey, Justin Porter. All right. Yeah, I mean, you've got good taste,
That's
Justin.
a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, another winner.
What I love about these is he's still drawing everything. You know, he's still. You make a great point, which is that like he's working it out, right? But that shows in the piece. So what's funny is like, okay, so the left leg and the shadow or the puddle or whatever that is, that's kind of where he's gonna take it, right? But he's not doing that as much yet. This is still more rendered. It's still more thought out. Even the figure, like the way he draws Hellboy now is not the way this Hellboy looks. Hellboy has become like almost like a caricature of himself.
True. And maybe that's more what I'm trying to say, Anton, where you're saying you feel like he had it all figured out. I don't know. To me, it feels like he doesn't, but I get it might just be because I know where he ends up with him. So I don't know, but I do like this period a lot. And Jason says that he's got an early Mignola Thor that he'd trade me if I gave him something good. You have to send me a scan, Jason. Maybe we'll figure something out. But yeah, congrats to Justin on this one. And I got 2 more pieces to look at here. I had to do some DC stuff here. So Dick Giordano, this was a advertising poster piece, just something fun. I mean, it looks more like a convention sketch to me, but obviously with it's not. But it's all Giordano here. So I was like, that'd be kind of cool to feature something. Now, whose calf gallery was this? Steve Lipsky, and Steve actually emailed me earlier today. That's weird too. So this is from 1979, and didn't mention what it was used for in advertising, but it was a poster too. So anyways, just cool Batman and Robin, very 70s style. So for those of you who have a affinity for that, like many of you do, this is a good piece, right?
I love all this licensing art, like especially obviously Garcia Lopez, but Giordano too. They're kind of cut from the same cloth, at least on these images. I mean, you could totally see this was like an iron-on T-shirt, or I mean, they probably used it 100 times, 100 different ways.
Right.
Yeah, continuity for sure.
Yeah, without question, Neil. I mean, where would we be without Neil Adams and Continuity Studios? I mean, honest to God, would comics still be around? I mean, who knows if they, without.
Well, will Batman be around? I mean,
it's hard to say. You're absolutely right. I mean, Neil, I think Neil he gets the credit he deserves. But I mean, you think about where we'd be if he never came into comics. I mean, if he just stayed with advertising or something like a lot of artists wanted to do. But man, yeah, he influenced a generation. I mean, it seems like everybody we talked to, Cowan, Sienkiewicz, Chaikin, everybody had something to do or walking through those offices at some point. So, yeah, I mean, he's Simonson. I mean, you name it. I mean, all those guys we love. Miller was probably, I don't know if Miller was ever in continuity, but he was around those guys. We was. Yep. So that, it's just we owe a lot to the man. So final piece here from me, and I don't even remember what I picked. Oh, a year ago, James, James has disappeared, everybody. He makes that one comment and he is gone. But he was, we did talk about it. I skipped all of James' Spider-Man pieces, because I picked this Steve Rude, and it's a recent Rude. Look, it says it's from January of 2023. I just like, Steve. He's just always got a slick style to himself. I mean, I saw this, and this should be like, I mean, I assume it's just a commission, right? Yeah, just a commission. But this could be a Spidey cover today. I mean, it's got got Rude's, his Kirby influences going on within this piece. Certainly in the skyscrapers and stuff. He's drawn a better Spider-Man than Kirby would ever have done. But I just love it. I mean, I see it, and it's a Rude piece from the moment you see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, slick is the perfect word for Steve Rude. I mean, his stuff is so clean. It's so measured, symmetrical. I mean, like, he's just like, nothing's out of place. And
it does look like it's all markers, Antoine, definitely. And Rich James says it's a Toronto City Hall reference. I don't know if Spidey made it north of the border, but at least he did in here. Spidey in place of Nexus. Yeah, that's true, Peter. But anyways, I saw this piece and I just liked it. I love Steve's work a lot, and I just thought, Spider-Man's not a character I think I've seen Steve draw too often. And did he mention where?
I think he's done a couple short things. Maybe Tangled Web.
Oh, you know what? You're right. I do believe you're right. Yeah. And you were right, Rich. It says features Spidey swinging along Nathan Phillips Square to Toronto City Hall, as pointed out by Duke Fleed. So, yeah. See, that's why us Southerners don't recognize that. But very cool. Very cool.
The lizard stole his toque.
Oh, man. Well, so we made it. It's a little late, quarter after midnight here. But Spidey, Thank you, Marcus. Anyway, so you're going to be browsing. You might be buying. Are you selling this weekend, or are you just a buyer this weekend?
I'm not much of a seller. I hate it. I don't have a lot of pieces, and when I get something, like, I get it with the intention of putting it up on the wall and gazing at it until I drop dead.
Understood. Yeah. All right. Well, I hope you have a great weekend. If you do pick up something, shoot me an email. Let me know that you scored something good.
I hope you have a great weekend.
I'm gonna, me. I'm gonna have a good weekend one way or another. Mm-hmm. But that's why I actually focused on not going heavy on the panels. Let people kind of come to me, so that it wasn't like I was doing 15 panels. So I think we only have 10 on the schedule. And 2 of them are just me welcoming people and doing the recap. So I just wanted to keep it light this time around and see if people feel like they missed that or they don't. I mean, I know it's kind of what was the foundation for the channel, but they take a lot of work, corralling people, getting the time slots,
timing it.
Yeah. And I this time around, I just didn't reach out to anybody to help me out. Mark Walters wasn't available on Sunday. And I just was like, we'll just take it easy, see where things go. But it'll be a good show one way or another. We'll have a lot to talk about next week. That's for sure.
I'm gonna try and get that Paulo thing head sketch. We'll see.
You should. I love
try.
Paulo's when he does those. I mean, every time I've seen him, I get to see him, like the day before. I'm like, oh man, they're all so good. So, but the thing that I saw that when you sent it to me, I went, yeah, that's a good one. And you'd think that one's not going to be like a heavy one that, you have a ton of people.
There are like 3 guys on CAF that I feel like it's an axe fight anytime some new thing art comes out. It's ridiculous. You know who you are in the chat if you're still here. Riddle and Lutz and oh my God.
Well, how many Paulo pieces? There's going to be 4 of the smaller head sketch painted pieces like corner box art, and then there is a 9x12 Daredevil that I haven't seen yet, but I can imagine what it looks like.
I haven't seen the Daredevil. I saw the Thing. I saw Black Panther. I saw Silver Surfer. He's been posting them this week. He actually posted some really cool process videos on Instagram this week.
I got to start thinking about following Instagram a little bit more because I don't go over there at all. But I mean, for booths, how many Paulo? Okay, Marcus wants to know how many Paulo Rivera pieces. All right, I will tell you.
Antoine Dennison posting a Keown Hulk cover in a few minutes to Comic Art Live for sale.
I don't know, but there is only one Paulo Rivera piece posted, and it's by Mark A from Splash Page. So, so it is a piece I have seen before. It is a cover, painted cover, but yeah, I love his stuff. There's, yeah, but I've got a lot. To me, I've got enough. I've got like 6 of his painted, 9x12 head sketches.
I have none.
Oh well, you're due. You need to get one.
Winger's got a great Spidey, like absolutely awesome Spidey from like, oh man, maybe the 2nd Comic Art Live.
Sweet.
So, yeah.
Wow. Well, there you go. Antoine said yes to CAF and open to bids. I got it directly from Dale. Well, everybody keep your eyes open for that. We have a lot of Keown fans out there. I know that. Oh, Marcus says he's going to get somebody to post something by Paulo to Comic Art Live. Cool. Yeah, please do that, Marcus. The more Paulo artwork out there, the better. All right, everybody. Well, listen, I'm not going to say goodbye to Chris. We're just going to say goodbye together. So it's going to be a very busy weekend. I will be back tomorrow night, of course, at 9 o'clock to do the thing with Chiggy and the mystery sketch live. But I hope everybody can tune into that. And if you don't, enjoy your weekend. Pick up artwork. Buy as much as you can. And remember, when the show is over, everybody, if you're a seller, leave feedback for your buyers, and buyers leave feedback for your sellers after that. It's eventually we'll have something integrated into the site for you, but that's still probably a few months away. But this is the best way we can help start building trust within the community on CAF. Any parting words for you, Chris? From you. Sayonara. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your evening, and we'll see you several times this weekend.
Later,
Good
guys.
night, and